What's up, everybody? We're live. We've got another live stream. Eat meat and make families. Um, I've got a special guest today announcing the vegetable police. I'm playing a siren. I don't think Casey can hear it. The audience can hear the
I
siren.
can hear it.
Good,
That's perfect.
good. All right.
It's like
What's
we
up,
planned
Casey?
it.
Got the vegetable
Not
police.
much.
Casey's got a channel on YouTube. If you guys aren't already subscribed to Mr. Casey on the Vegetable Police, you got to check him out. He's got a nice, really funny, lighthearted, but occasionally going deep channel exploring health and wellness and kind of like a one man's personal journey through all this madness. And I've been subscribed to him for a little while, watching him kind of change his ideas, his views, and everything. And we talked to Casey. Shoot, how long ago was that, man? Was that a month ago or 2 months ago?
Feels like we did it 30 days after I went carnivore, so it might have even been like 2 months by now.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah,
I think
because
we're about due for an update. So does that mean that you're now 3 months carnivore, like 90 days carnivorous?
I think we're at like 4 months now. My timeline's a little messed up, but
Dang. Well,
yeah, I've been
you were
carnivore for
probably in
about
hiding.
four.
You were probably in hiding like a closeted carny for a little while, right? So maybe is there an
Yeah.
is it obscured for your own safety kind of a thing?
Yeah, I did it behind the scenes and then kind of hoping it failed, just be like, yeah, this doesn't work, guys. But then I just started feeling so good. I was like, ah, shit, I'm gonna have to change my whole life now, my whole channel, everything. It's just like, oh man,
And it's been
embrace for the
kind of
vegan storm as well.
how has that been going, man? The last time we talked, it was kind of the middle of maybe kind of what one would call perhaps a shit storm of
Yep.
controversy. I mean, maybe I don't think it's so warranted. I mean, it's one guy deciding to not be vegan at the moment, but it did seem to stir up quite a controversy. And yeah, you want to go back to that time, take a little trip down memory lane, tug on the heartstrings back then. I mean, what was going on when you first stopped eating the vegetables, you started eating the meat? I mean, what's going on in your mind emotionally and psychologically?
Yeah, it was a rough transition that I feel like I'm finally overcoming. Like for the longest time, I was just so worried about pissing off vegans. I was just like, damn it, I was a vegan. I was all into the vegan world and then I changed and I'm like, sorry guys, I'll try to go vegan again. Don't hurt me. Like that's what this whole thing was. It's like I just kept trying, thinking in the back of my mind, I'll probably be vegan again one day. I'm just gonna fix my gut on the carnivore thing and then go back and but the more I do it, I'm just like, why go back? I feel fantastic. I've never felt this good in all areas of my life. My confidence has improved. I want to socialize now for the first time. It's like I was just so withdrawn. I didn't expect the mental changes and the emotional awakening. I'm just like, whoa, I feel alive and happy. What's happening? Like, why would I go back to the starvation approach I was doing with all the fiber in my gut and just wasn't working?
How quickly did you? I mean, how soon after kind of transitioning did you feel this way? Because last time we talked, it seemed like you were like at a spot where you were feeling pretty good. You felt pretty good, but you were still
Hmm.
skeptical. You mentioned, I'll probably end up going back to vegan again. I'm thinking about going and seeing the Life Regenerator in Hawaii. I'm thinking about doing this and that. There were all these ideas floating around, and it seemed like there was
Hmm.
kind of a little bit of guilt, shame, still lingering, still dealing with kind of like coming to grips with the identity change. I mean, 2 more months down the line, has how has that changed? It seems like you're much more stable on your feet now, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm finally getting over it and it's just like I keep feeling better and better, so it's making me no longer question like I didn't feel good as a vegan. I do want to add in more plants eventually and get some like I want to try some avocados and olives in there and get some
So you,
plant
you
fats
haven't
and
joined the plants of the fucking devil crowd yet, have you?
No, definitely not. There is a balance to be had here. It's like plants can be healthy if you can digest them. Meat, definitely healthy. It's easier to digest. It's like that's the most
That's a
shocking
big
thing.
one that people don't understand, and I didn't understand this either. And it actually even took me years of eating meat with plants, and then like gradually allowing myself less and less plants on the plate to realize that it's like, dude, meat is the freaking easiest thing in the world to digest, even especially, believe it or not, raw meat is super easy to digest. The more rare and raw it is for me, I don't know, I find myself craving it in that form. Yeah, you
Yeah,
let's talk about poop. What are the
yeah.
digestive differences between high fiber vegan diet, which a vegan diet's going to be. Is there a way to not do a high fiber vegan diet?
Uh, I actually got a Facebook message from somebody, a vegan, like he was real pissed that I went back to carnivore, or went to carnivore from vegan, and he was just like, "Have you thought of trying a fake meat diet? Because that's low in fiber." So he wanted me on all 100% soy meat and wheat gluten, and I was like, "How the hell is that gonna bring
It's
my health
the
back?" It's
impossible
like,
diet, the beyond diet.
yeah, it's ridiculous. So, like, the differences are incredible not having fiber in there. And I will say there's a couple periods of my vegan journey where I wasn't bloated at all. And I think it was mostly during the fruitarian style phase, but
Wow, now
it's like,
that's so surprising to me because I kind of associate mentally. I haven't eaten a lot of fruit in a long time, but when the time when I was playing around with veganism, I definitely associate fruit with bloat. Um, that's
you can get to a point where here's the thing though, if you eat like a giant cooked meal at night, then pretty much if you have fruit the next day, there's a good chance that fruit's going to run into your asshole cooked food meal and they're going to fight it out. And it's like, so there was a period where I was like 100% raw. My dinner was romaine lettuce on a cutting board, just like four heads. And I'm just chewing it like a cow. And I'm like, this sucks. This sucks. But I'm
But
not
you didn't
bloated.
think it was good when you were doing it? Like you didn't enjoy it? Because
It
sometimes
was
I'll think back and I'm like,
mildly.
well, I was doing this, and now I think back and it's like, why the fuck would I do that? But when I was doing it, I was like, yeah, this is really good. This is rad. It's perfect. You know?
There was a couple bites where it's like, okay, this is nice to not have sweet anymore. It's somewhat savory, but it's not like I would be thinking, oh, I wish I could have a potato or something. Like I'm just eating this lettuce like a moron. It takes like an hour and a half to eat all four heads, and you're just like, why did I do that? But like, so I wasn't bloated. That was nice, but I had terrible acne, fatigue all day long, and like it was just never the balance of health with the vegan diet. You can dial it in on some areas, but I don't know. I still think that some people are thriving, but I'm getting more and more people just saying they're not. And it's like, who's telling the truth on
I mean,
YouTube,
maybe
really?
both are
There's
telling the truth. I mean, there's got to be a few people that actually feel good on a vegan diet, and that it shows with. I don't know. I don't watch many vegan YouTubers. I'll cycle through phases, popping in and seeing, but yeah, it's so hard to tell sometimes. It's like, are people just putting on a show for the camera? Because everyone wants to be perfect on social media, especially if you're promoting some ideology or diet. So it could
hmm
be hard for me to know. I mean, do you get people contacting you that maybe I don't know. I mean, like I've had other vegan YouTubers contact me and tell me that they're not ready to like talk about it yet, but they have been eating meat and feeling much better. Some of them going more of a carnivorous style approach because they seem to have really bad sensitivities after long-term vegan diets, and other ones just adding some meat back in and feeling better in general. But you probably get even more than that because I mean you're just straight out of veganism.
Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of like, there's some very popular vegan YouTubers who are telling me their struggles, but they don't talk about them on their channel. There's some smaller YouTubers that are also struggling, telling me about it. And then in my comment section, I'm getting a lot of like vegans that are struggling and have tried the carnivore diet and are feeling a lot better. So we got like anecdotes all out the yin yang over here. It's just like it
Yeah, it's gonna
works. It
it's
does work.
it's gonna be interesting to see where all this goes. I mean, what's gonna be going? Like, 2 years from now, what's gonna be happening? Because there has been this. I mean, if you've watched vegan YouTube for a long time, it's kind of been like vegan YouTube versus the world. If you've paid attention to it, it's an interesting niche. And now veganism has, it's like this nemesis with carnivore, right? It's like there's this polar opposite side of like, and it's not even nemesis as in, oh, well, carnivores and vegans should hate each other. It's just as far as the belief of the diet goes, like plants are good gets totally thrown out the window by this certain subsect of the population that's experimenting with a plantless diet and seem to be doing really well on it. It just like really shifts the perspective in Overton window away from like, yes, we all agree that plants are good and that, the question is just how much meat should we eat? It's like this whole group of people that's kind of just like, well, we're just eating all meat and we feel fantastic. So this is it's a really interesting time. But yeah, so I want to go back to your personal thing because we could wax poetic about what the hell's going on. And we really, I mean, it's almost impossible to really know like the grand perspective of it. But so like your mood and
Yeah.
your confidence. I mean, what's up with that? When did you start noticing changes in confidence and mood when coming off of the veganism?
I think that was like pretty much after I adapted. After the first couple of weeks, I started, even like right away, the first night, I had this calmness to me and depression started lifting. So I could say immediately, but it just got stronger and stronger. And like I've just been such an introvert for such a long time, and I'm so used to that. And diet can play such a big role in that. I think it's possible, like just having certain organ weaknesses, like adrenal weakness, is connected with anxiety and social anxiety. So if you have weak adrenals, it's not even that you think you're this antisocial person. It's literally your hormones. You don't have the hormones that give you the energy and the confidence. Like it's a physical problem. People don't realize that. It's not even a mental thing. It's like get your health back and then you want to go socialize. It's bizarre.
That's super
So like
interesting.
I'm
The part of
yeah,
the
so I
brain
came
that the part of the brain that regulates social interaction and social anxiety and stuff like that is actually intimately tied in with the immune system as well. So it's like
mm,
all these things are affecting each other. Hormone levels, immune function, diet. So yeah, I mean it makes a lot of sense, man. Do you ever test testosterone before and after, or because that could be interesting to
no,
just
I I don't know if I've ever tested it, but I should. I want to get a blood test, but it's just like I kind of want to wait till I get back to Canada where it's free. I can test everything for free there, and
there you
like
go.
here I gotta pay for it all. So it's like I
Yeah.
might just wait. I am thinking of moving back because it's funny. Like I moved out here to Thailand to heal my physical body. Planned on going on a fruit fast, just nothing but mangoes or something, and I didn't expect the mind changes. Like that's been what I got. Like I got what I needed out here. I feel confident. I feel independent. I feel like I can take care of myself now. My YouTube channel grew up to where like I can support myself and I feel so much better about life. It's like I don't
Yeah,
need
it's
any
like
more
you're coming out of the
healing.
cave, man. Coming out of the
Yeah,
cave.
it's exactly. So I am thinking of moving back to Canada soon to be with my girlfriend. I've been away from her for about a year now,
Now
and
that's
it's
that's
like
something
I
that
got
interests me
what I
so
needed.
much. It's like, do you think veganism made you unconsciously become an incel? Like, did veganism like unconsciously drive you to just being so socially, isolating yourself? I mean, not maybe not veganism, but certain nutrient deficiencies, perhaps. Maybe not a problem just with veganism, but with the way you did veganism, or not even enough veganism, or whatever you want to call it. Um, do you think that?
No, it was happening my whole life pretty much, so I can just say that veganism didn't fix it. Like veganism didn't cause it because it was already happening. I was socially withdrawn always, and so like I was vegan for 10 years and I wasn't getting out of that cave. I would ignore messages. Like I get all these requests from people wanting to meet up, And I'm just like, oh no, I just ignore them. I'm just like, no, I just had no confidence. And now, like, whenever somebody messages me, like, I go and meet them. I met like 4 people here within the first couple weeks. And I'm just like, yeah, sure. You want to go hang out? Let's go hang out. Let's go walk on the beach. Let's talk. I don't care who you are. It's like, let's have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we talked last time we talked. You mentioned that how like there were a lot of people who hit you up, and you're just like, yeah, I got a pimple, or I got, whatever this or that's not perfect or something. It's just like whatever excuse we can throw out, like we'll use that to
Hmm.
isolate. I think a
Yeah, that.
lot of people doing YouTube are kind of similar, like introverted extroverts, kind of. Creative introverts where like you're performing to a certain extent, right? Like you're um, very very creative platform, but at the same time, maybe very very sensitive and introverted. Like, well, your last video, I just saw the title, and I think you talked on our last time we talked about a stream. You kind of told this story, but do you wanna go into that? You kind of you see this as like the genesis of this uh, kind of social anxiety type thing, or what?
The teacher story. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell it briefly. Just I was in kindergarten class and music started playing. Like we're marching in a circle and we're singing a song. I don't know that I've even heard music at this point in my life, but it like awoke in my inner musical child. Like I'm just a very musical person. I make all the music for my videos. I've been doing this for years, and it woke me up. I was like, "Oh my God, this is so exciting." And I was just like singing my own song. I didn't know the words to whatever the hell they were doing, and the teacher was just like, "No." Pulled me out of the line, and she's like, "No, that was bad. You expressed yourself. How dare you express yourself?" And like that's how we take it. Like we don't know.
So
We don't know
did you go
what
to
we did
preschool?
wrong.
Did you have preschool before that, or was kindergarten the first school experience?
Kindergarten was the first school.
So I remember
So
preschool was kind of
yeah.
funny. I have like certain memories from preschool of just the feeling, right, of like being away from your family, kind of like away from your clan, away from your tribe, and just like you're thrown in a room with people you don't even know, right? And who knows what their
Yeah,
parents
it's
teach them, or
freaky.
like what kind of environment they've grown up in, right? Like in every classroom, there's gonna be like one little shit storm of a kid, um, you know. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
that whole
school.
situation's wild.
Yeah, it's like a little prison for kids. And then I don't know, I read something once in a book. It fascinated me how like school we put everybody the same age in a group and they're all in the same class, 8-year-olds, and then you move up to 9-year-olds. Whereas like in traditional cultures and tribes, it's like the whole spectrum hangs out together. You got the grandparents and the parents and the kids running around, and everybody's learning from each other, and the grandparents learn from the kids on how to take life less serious, and then they teach the young ones how to live. And like it's just this dynamic that is lost in school. It's just like a bunch of kids the same age, and then the authoritarian teacher telling you how it is. And are they even right? Do they even know what the hell's going on? Are they
Yes, of course
happy?
they are. They are paid by the state, Mr. Vegetable Police. Of course they're fucking right.
I
Well,
remember
the
this
whole
one.
public education system is designed that way intentionally. Like if you actually read the early literature from the people who started the public education system, um,
Hmm.
there's this book, this woman. What was her? It's like 1,000-page tome. It's called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, and she basically just pulls primary sources and quotes from the people who started the whole system, and it's this utopian ideal about making everybody think, act, and behave the same using behaviorism, Pavlovian
Mm.
training. You ring a bell, the dog salivates.
Yeah.
It's that model. They called it the Prussian model. It was basically throughout the entire Western world has been used to create what we have today. You know,
Hmm.
this whatever malleable population. You ever read that guy John Taylor Gatto? He's got some good books about this stuff, the education
Sounds
system.
familiar. I
You'd
might
like
have
it.
read it or seen his videos if he's made videos. It sounds
Yeah, I think he used
familiar.
to make videos. He had a funny voice. I think he had a stroke at some point, but he was like the teacher of the year in New
Mm.
York for a long time, and he started writing books and just about the public indoctrination centers. And people are laughing in the chat. Did he almost say indoctrination? Yes, I definitely did. That's what I see it as. It's the first time it wasn't intentional. The second time it was. But
Yeah, like
yeah, you
there's
get kind
some
of broken up
basic
in school, man.
information.
It's like you're not
What's
allowed to
that?
express yourself in the classroom.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I don't remember much from high school. I don't think that was the point really to teach you. It was more like get you used to the routine of showing up to your job and staying there and then
Till the bell
leaving when
rings.
it's time.
Wait for the
Yeah,
bell
it's
to
like
ring,
it
and then
was
you behave in the way that you're trained to when the bell rings. It's beautiful. It's like
yeah.
training a dog.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a nightmare. I remember this one teacher because we always looked up to the teacher. He was the speaker. He was the person. Like, okay, this guy knows everything. Teach us your ways. And I don't know why, but this guy got confident one day and he was like, I will challenge anybody in this room to a arm wrestling match. And so this was high school. We're 15 or 16-year-olds. And we had this one like pretty tall Asian guy. He had the best posture I've ever seen in my life. He just had the perfectly straight back. Like he must have been taught from an early age, like never slouch, young man.
Like
Just
his mom's
he had
like
the
whipping
best.
him in the back when he slouches at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, straightest back you've ever seen. So he answered the call. He answered the challenge. And I tell you, they're even. And the teacher couldn't like even move him. And I was like, oh my God. And the teacher actually ended up losing that match. And he was just so defeated at the end. He was
He
like,
like
oh my
writes him a
God, I
referral. He's
lost.
like, you're fucking going to the fucking principal right now. It's like
Yeah.
writes him a fake
He,
referral, sends him out.
yeah. Yeah. I never saw him again. He disappeared. He was taken away, the student.
My second grade teacher used to threaten me with a stapler that she would staple my lips shut.
Mm,
Yeah. I knew she was
seems
joking,
nice.
but it was just like, I would laugh at it. But people, I'd be like, I talk to kids that were in that class. They're like, do you remember when Miss Richards used to shake the stapler at you?
Yeah, it must be a tough job. You get a rowdy class of kids not behaving. You're just like, oh my God, what am I gonna there? And if you have any sort of like, if you're overweight or something, they poke fun of you. We don't have to listen to you. You're fat.
Everything. Right? Right? No matter what it is. Speech impediment. Imagine
Yeah.
being like a teacher with a speech impediment. And every time you mess up, or
Yeah.
like you have like a slight, you have like a slight lisp that you've been working on with a speech therapist for 20 years, and you got to teach ninth grade.
Yeah.
These little cruel shits are just snickering every time you have to say the S.
Yeah. That's one of the major challenges of being like a health-based YouTuber like we both are. It's like we're judged so much closer. Like, okay, how's your skin looking today? Oh, no, he's dying. He's dying. Look at him. He doesn't have enough muscle. Oh, it's like we're just under such a microscope. It's not
Yeah, you
fair.
got to have perfect lighting all the time, or you're gonna get the trolls are gonna be telling you how terrible you are. Somebody made a comment the other day because in one of my intro, like, or I think it's in almost most of the intros to my video. There's like a shot that I used. There's like a random shot of it was like a close up of my eye from maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. And somebody made a comment like, "Go to an iridiologist. Your eyes are." It's like, what the? Someone diagnosed me from my eye that I'm sick and dying, and I need to go to an iridiologist.
Yeah, that's a whole practice. I've made some videos about it. It's like they
Oh,
can
I'm not
see
saying
the
it's not legit.
details.
Maybe it's legit. Maybe the day that I shot that, I wasn't feeling too well. Who knows? But I thought that was just really funny. It's like random person on
Yeah.
YouTube. Good God, man, go to a radiologist. You're gonna die. Look at your freaking eye. Disgusting sewer rat.
Yeah, I've had people requesting to see my tongue in the comments. They're like, "Show us your tongue if you're so healthy." Like, because the Chinese
My
medicine,
tongue
they're
is so
all into
dry right
the.
now. I did a sauna earlier. The whole mouth is so dry. I'm so thirsty. But I just ate, so I'm trying not to drink too much water.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing I've noticed on the carnivore diet is my tongue, the coating went away. It's now just like, it looks like a regular tongue where it was just like thrashed or thrushed.
Thrush, the candida. Did it take a
Yeah.
while for your digestive tract to get adjusted to carnivore?
Yes. And it's still adjusting. It was just pretty much nightmares in the beginning, but it wasn't painful. So I was like, okay, whatever. Things are exploding out of me. At least they're leaving my body. Good riddance to you. Just don't hit me on your way out. And I
Did
was
that
happy
make
with
you
it. And
double think it though? Because you're like, well, maybe this isn't good. I'm getting this response where this gross stuff is coming out of me when I'm transitioning. Perhaps I should not be doing this. Did it worry you at all?
no, just because I've heard it's common for people to go through that, and it seems most people do. It's an adaptation phase. Your body's flushing out, and my digestion, that's been my main thing that I'm working on, and it's never been great on any diet I've tried. So now it's like it's the best of all worlds right now. It's working. We're not bloated. There's no gas. That's amazing. And things don't always flow through me the way I want. Like I have these ideals where it's like, okay, every morning I want the perfect bowel movement, complete emptying of the meal I had before the night before. And it's not always like that. And I was taking magnesium for a while to try to flush things out. And I think that was giving me acne because I haven't had a breakout in like 2 months now. And yeah, that was a huge issue. I was trying to overcome acne
So
since I
it
was
seems like you've got a
14
few
years
different
old.
barometers you use. You got like your skin, right? Your digestion. Those seem to be things.
Hmm.
And then also, I guess maybe what you're concerned with is bloating. Well, I guess that skin digestion, and then what other barometers do you use to kind of gauge how you're feeling? It seems like you've got several things you're tracking, and sometimes they all
Hmm.
line up, the stars line up, and you feel great.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of them gets off. Sometimes all of them are
Hmm.
off. Sometimes one of them's
Hmm.
perfect and the other ones all suck. So yeah, I definitely I know that feeling, and having a body
Hmm.
is a strange experience to all of us. Um, but yeah. What else do you look at?
Yeah. So mainly I focus on the digestion, my skin, like these are the noticeable ones. Then there's my energy levels, which I'm still playing around with. I do want to talk with you about this, about the ketones and the carnivore, how much protein. We'll get into that. But also the mood. I mean, certain foods can just depress the heck out of me. And I think and itchiness. I used to get a lot of itchiness in response to foods, like histamine responses, and I don't seem to get that anymore. So there's a couple things that I notice when I eat something that isn't working, I get these symptoms again.
And when you first started the carnivore thing, it was a roller coaster, right? They were all fluctuating. It was like trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, the energy was down in the beginning, and I was still getting itchy from the beef. It's like certain aged cuts of beef can be high in histamine, so like you have to really get the fresh meat. That's what I learned. I now shop like either every day or every other day to get the freshest possible meat. And that's been a huge learning curve. I used to, because when I was a vegan, I would go shopping and buy an absolute massive amount of fruit that would last me a week or so. So that's what I was used to doing. So I did that with the meat. I would buy a bunch of meat and have that last my whole week. And I'm like, oh my God, like meat does not last that long in the fridge. And I would get sick and nauseous. I'm eating
You didn't want to
5 day old
freeze it.
slimy.
You didn't want to freeze it.
I didn't, I was listening to Three Ridge. He was saying, don't ever freeze your
Shout
meat.
out to Gatis, the friendly vampire.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know what to believe. Like, does freezing kill it and it's no longer as healthy? I want the optimal health here. So I was like,
Optimal,
okay,
right?
I'm
Well,
not gonna
doesn't
freeze it.
that word almost sometimes just really fuck the whole thing up for us? Optimal, right? Like if you all right, if you could do something, but there's something better, it's like it can be so. I don't know. It's like if you're a perfectionist, so I think all human beings kind of are inherently, and we just channel it
Hmm.
into different ways with whatever degree of autism we tend to roll with usually. And yeah, it's like me. Like even like so, I built this truck, and it's like you know, certain things will be kind of perfect. You'll get it perfect. And then it's just it doesn't last forever. Like you paint a car and you drive it through freaking tree branches all the time. It's gonna scratch your paint. But it happens, it's gonna happen. But then it happens and you're still just like, fuck, like it was perfect and now there's this scratch right there. And if I ever take a
Yeah.
picture of it, I have to take a picture of the scratched side because I have to be honest with
Hmm.
myself. I think we'll tend. That's kind of an extreme, like funny exaggeration, but we do
Hmm.
like we tend. I think we tend to focus so much on like the imperfections sometimes, maybe almost to a fault, especially when you're trying to get perfect health. Because what is perfect health? Like what the hell is that?
Yeah, I think it's something. It's weird. Like I never would have done this in my early days when I just started eating healthy, trying to heal the colitis. I would not cheat ever. Like I was like, okay, this is the optimal way. Okay, fruits only. Okay, he said I can have steamed potatoes in the book, so we'll do that. Plain steamed potatoes. Okay. And I would never cheat. And now, I guess sometimes you have to be strict when you have a chronic illness like that. Okay, like spend a little time, heal up the body. But
Yeah,
after a
like
while,
if
it's
you're
like,
doing keto because you got epilepsy, right? I mean, that's kind of where it came about, the whole medical literature thing. It's like if I'm not on a keto diet, I will be, twitching out on the ground with epileptic seizures, and there are children who needed it. So in that case, like being strict for sure is super important.
yeah, yeah, some people need it. If you have Parkinson's and you're gonna have some oranges and that's gonna make you shake again, it's like, okay, don't have the oranges. Like, how good can they possibly taste to be worth the shaking? So for me, now that my health has steadied out, like I like cheating on fun things. Like they have
Oh,
these.
dude, you're out. All right, you left veganism, and now
Oh
you're saying you're a
no,
carnivore, but you like cheating? This interview's over, dude.
cheating.
Heretic. No, I'm kidding. I don't
I
give a shit.
know,
No,
I
that is
know.
funny, man.
I'm so sorry,
What do you like to eat
carnivores.
that's
I even
off
had
plan? What do you
I
like
had
to
our
cheat
buddy
with?
Frank Tefano tell me I'm not carnivore enough.
You're
That's
not.
not carnivore. You're not doing carnivore. I was
How did
like,
he
you
tell
sound
you
like a
that?
vegan, buddy.
Why did he tell you that? I had Frank on the other week. He
Hmm?
was pretty nice, and then after I had him on, he made some video like yesterday, or the other day, and he was like shitting on Michaela Peterson. Like she was like one of like the sweetest people in the world, and he's shitting on her, saying, "Oh, she should give nutritional consultations because she had diarrhea when she started carnivore. She didn't know what she was
Yeah.
doing." I was like, "What? What are you talking about, dude? There's people who have diarrhea for a few months when they switch their diet, and they got serious autoimmune conditions. It's like there are people who go through
Mm.
a really serious adaptation phase to a lot of these things. But
Hmm.
that's not so nice. I think you're carnivore enough. I don't run.
Come on,
I don't
Frank.
know. I don't really run I'm not a member of the Carnilluminati. The Carnu. I don't know. We need a new word. The Leguminati. That one's easy for the vegan crew, but we don't have one for carnivore. Um,
Mm.
but I accept
Post
you.
it down below in the comments.
Post down
What should
below.
it
What can
be?
we be? I accept vegetable police though. Let's talk about the cheating though. What do you cheat on?
Yeah, so I had like we have these German pork legs out here, and this is cheating to me. Like I'm having my own cooked meats. I know all the quality, nothing's freaky in here. Like I know all the ingredients, and then I figured I'd try some things out here in Thailand because I was getting nauseous. I was just having boiled chicken for a while, and I was like, this is starting to suck. This is
Dude,
not
I
even
hate
fun
chicken,
anymore.
by the way. Like I think the fatty acid profile of chicken is not great for me. I don't know. I don't like chicken. I love ruminants, man. Beef as well as a sheep, goat. Those are all
Hmm.
great. Chicken, not so much.
Yeah, I love the taste of it when it's done right, but yeah, it is like you can eat a meal of chicken and get like 20 or 30 grams of omega-6, whereas the beef you're just gonna get like 3 or 4 grams. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, is this inflammatory? So yeah, I started just having some rotisserie chickens out here in Thailand, and the German pork leg, it's smoked and it tastes like bacon. I'm
That doesn't
just like,
sound
oh
like
my
cheating to me.
God.
This sounds like you're still pretty carnivorous to me.
Yeah, it's still carnivorous, Frank. Come on, Frank.
Come
Let
on,
me in the
Frank. Please,
club, Frank.
please approve of us, Frank. Think we're cool, Frank. We just want to be cool on
Yeah.
the internet.
It's like I'm not eating enough organs for Frank. It's only a couple times a week. It has to be every day. And I think I'm supplementing. We might as well get into this vitamin C thing because I started supplementing with it. So that kicked me out
You
of the carnivore
heretic!
club.
You're supposed to take zero supplements ever. You're supposed to renounce all supplements forever for the rest of your life. They all have no place.
Mm-hmm.
Meat and
Mm-hmm.
salt.
Yeah, like I'm just
I'm
theorizing,
joking,
and
just
I
to the
could be
audience. I'm
wrong.
joking. I'm not anti-supplement in general. I don't think it. I think a lot of people put too much weight on supplements, and which does make it interesting that a lot of the carnivore style people are like, "Oh, fuck the supplements. You don't need them." That is needed to a certain extent, but I'm not all against
Hmm.
supplements. There's some powders that could be
Yeah,
useful.
if they're beneficial, take it. If you're deficient in something and you can't get it from the diet, like there is vitamin C in a carnivore diet, you can get it if you're eating like 200 or 300 grams of chicken liver. That actually has enough vitamin C, but are you going to do that every day? And then there is the
Well, how do we know what's enough?
dehydroascorbic.
How do we know what's enough?
Yeah, like who knows? Is it less because we eat less carbs? There's that theory going around, which I'm not fully convinced of, but I don't know. And there's like these vitamin C mimicking substances in there's the oxidized form of vitamin C in meat, dehydroascorbic acid, and we can turn that into vitamin C. So in most people, even just eating red meat that doesn't say it's high in vitamin C, you should be able to get enough. So I have no idea if I was deficient or not, but I was getting some pains in my back. I think that was from I had this Thai massage and she
You had
like
minor
stuck her knees in my
scurvy. You
back.
were getting scurvy, and she revealed it to you with her hands because she was a healer.
Sh I think she popped something out in my spine. She bent me back
Oh,
like
dude.
Gumby, and I was like, "Oh my God, that felt weird." So
Yeah, I've
like
had a
I was
couple. I
having
had a
some back
massage from a
pain.
lady that reckoned herself a chiropractor once, and I
Mm.
spent about a week in bed after it because she ripped open some old scar tissue in me old hip there, connected to my psoas and my right down the base of my curvy little spine down there, and that was not fun.
Yeah.
I was walking funny for a week. I was afraid to like walk. I was like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen here?"
Yeah, I've had that same thing like in the hips. Something feels dislocated and then it's pressing on a nerve. And I was getting that again too. I used to have that all the time as a vegan. My hip would go out of place and then it'd pinch on a nerve and I'm like, ah, damn it. And sometimes I could pop it back in. And so I was getting back pain, hip pain, and just my elbow was starting to hurt. And I'm like looking up symptoms of scurvy one day and I'm like, bone
Joint
pain.
pain.
I'm like, do I have frickin' scurvy right now? Modern day, am I going to be the only example
Dude, you'd be
of
the
a modern day
first. It would be
human?
so great. It would be the perfect example too for like this is bad, and we would all know. Let's all go vegan. Like we'd ask Foot Soldier to tell us what to eat. Um,
Yeah.
but damn, that sucks
Yeah.
that you didn't have scurvy. How did you find out you didn't have scurvy?
Well, basically, I still don't know. Like I just bought some I was on the beach in the ocean. I made a video about scurvy, like I think I have scurvy. Oh my God. And I saw I saw this bottle wash up on the beach and it was a orange juice and it said vitamin C added and I'm like, I never see litter on the beach. And then the universe is going to show me this bottle of vitamin C. I was like, you got
Divine
to be kidding
intervention
me.
from a vitamin
You got
C.
to listen
You
listen
got
to the
a
omens.
tangy tangerine divine intervention.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I go to 7-Eleven. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a little vitamin C pack and see. And I started taking it and my pain was going away. I don't know.
I think I'm coming back. I'm back. We cut out at I don't
Did
know. My internet cut out for a second there.
okay, did anybody hear anything I said?
We're about 20 seconds. We've got about 20-second delay. You said,
Okay, so
and
I
I
I
don't know.
bought the
There you go.
yeah, I bought the vitamin C, started taking it, and the pain started going away. And I'm not sure if it's because I was deficient or if I was just starting to heal, I would have healed naturally anyway, or if I was lowering my protein at the same time. Like, that's what I've noticed. Too much protein is kind of not good. I feel an increase in pain in my body and I smell worse. And so I want to pick your brain about that because like carnivore diet it's like, do we need to be in ketosis, like 80% fat? Like, how much should we
Yeah,
limit our
that's a
protein? I
good
want to get
question.
your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. Well, all right. So first of all, I think it's individually based, right? So there's going to be some people. I mean, imagine you and I are going to have a different response than a 300-pound power lifter, right? We're going to need
Hmm.
different protein requirements. So there's that. As we age, we're not as good at like actually utilizing and digesting and assimilating protein. So as we age, we kind of want to increase our protein intake. In fact, um, but I think you're definitely onto something there, man. If you're eating lean meat and you're not getting enough fat, that's the energy
Mhm.
source, and you're already lean. Like, I mean, you're
Mhm.
not like gonna die if you lose 10 pounds lean, but it's like you're pretty lean and your body's not trying to give that up. You know, I mean, it's not gonna give it
Mhm.
up really quickly, and
Mm.
you're just giving yourself protein. So what you're having to do is you're having to oxidize amino acids for energy. You don't have a lot of fatty acids coming in. You weren't really adapted to low carb. So I'd say if you, all right, so different scenario, alternate universe. Vegetable Police did a ketogenic diet for 2.5 years, then started eating 200 grams of protein a day from a carnivore diet. Then you might have a different response, right? Your body might have just been more used to using fatty acids. You might have more, you get more mitochondria when you're in ketosis longer,
Mhm.
right? So you generate those mitochondria. Those mitochondria can burn fat really efficiently. So that could have been the issue. It could have just been time too, where it's like in the beginning
Mhm.
you were just adapting, your gut's adapting. I
Mhm.
mean, think about gut bacteria. Think about how many square centimeters of gut lining there is through the entire small and large intestine, all populated with certain bacteria, all used to digesting certain foods at certain times. All of those have a circadian rhythm that they're adapted to. So it's like they stop getting those foods at those times. And they're like, well, now what do we do? They start kind of dying
Mm.
off. They release toxins as they die off. They're trying to figure out what to eat. They're fighting for resources, scraping for whatever's left over in there if there's anything up in it. So I think
Mhm.
that's an aspect. And it's just, I think adaptation is a big part of it. But you're onto something as like far as not getting enough fat and eating lean protein, way too much lean protein. It's like you don't need that much
Yeah.
protein. Why make yourself digest, assimilate, and convert it into a usable fuel source? So me, I'm kind of
Yeah,
like
it's
I end up around 2 pounds of meat a day usually, and I know that's
Mhm.
more than I need, but I usually end up eating it in one meal, and I have a bunch of egg yolks, raw egg yolks with the meal. I have like
Mhm.
bone marrow. I like to eat brain.
Mhm.
Some people, most people are never going to eat brain, but I like to eat brain. I eat
I'd
a lot of
like to
bone marrow.
try it.
It's amazing. It's really good. Raw, it's incredible. Bone marrow,
Yeah.
butter. You don't do
Mhm.
butter, but like yeah, so that's how I get fat. Um,
Mhm.
what's
Yeah, so
another?
like I
Go ahead.
tried this is what I'm trying like I'm still just fine tuning it all. So I did a little experiment where I ate pretty much nothing but pork bellies for a little bit. So we're up at like
I
yeah,
love
they're
pork belly,
delicious.
but dude, you can't cook that. You can't boil that like a pussy. You gotta.
I steam it.
You can't steam it, dude.
I steam it.
You gotta
Oh
like get it all
no.
crispy on the outside. You gotta cheat it.
Yeah, I know. I
How does
don't
it taste
have the
steamed?
means. It's actually good. It's like chewy. The skin is like a little chewy, like it's perfect. I love actually steamed pork bellies, sprinkled salt on there. It's like, wow, this is actually really good.
I'm gonna have to try it.
So I'm doing that. Yeah, try it out. And there's like conflicting information about how much fat there is in a pork belly. Like Chronometer will say it's 90% fat. And then there's other sources online saying, no, it's 50%.
Yeah,
One's at
we have no idea
30%. I
how
was
much
like,
fat. Like how much is in a
uh,
ribeye? You look at one ribeye next to another. One of them will have a big old fat piece of fat in the middle. The other one's half the size. So it's like, well, what do I? How do I know?
yeah, it's almost impossible to track calories accurately on
Yeah.
this diet just with the fat differences. So I'm
Yes,
eating
yeah,
like
people
just
are still
judging
getting
by
better results than when they were tracking really intensely, even on normal keto diets. Some people doing carnivore.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that if you're doing keto
Mhm.
diet, you should just go carnivore. I don't like. I'm not there. I'm not like. I don't promote it for everyone. I just think it's really interesting that you can, and I eat this way.
Mhm.
But yeah, you see a lot of people. They just stop tracking. They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat meat, and it's just that if that's the rule, that cuts out so many other options, and it just keeps you so on point, and people end up losing weight not
Mhm.
tracking anything. But you're not trying to lose
Yeah.
weight. That's the problem, right?
No, if anything, I'd like to put on some weight. It's funny because my body looks so much different. I keep getting a lot of comments saying like, "Holy shit, he actually has some muscle now," and it's like, yeah, it's coming on fast. And but I've actually lost 2 kilograms since going carnivore from
Nice.
vegan. Like I haven't put on any weight. It's just changing from like muscle to fat. I lose fat, I put on muscle, and I stay the same weight. I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
That's
But
nice.
yeah,
I
with
kind of
this.
do a similar thing. I do similar. Like I'll be 150, and then I'll gain up to like 156 or seven. Or not. Not that I've done this several times, but the last round it's been I was about 150. I maintained 150 for like 2 years, and I was 157 like a week ago. But I was eating 2 meals a day, and they were huge, and it was just too much to digest. So then I dial it
Yeah.
back a little bit, lean out, and kind of I think I'll linger around 155. But that 155, it's like the quality of that 155 could be very different than the quality of me at 155 doing
Yeah,
different
I'm gonna
things.
make a video soon because I have some old footage when I first started working out as a vegan and I was putting on muscle and I was just gaining weight and I was about the exact same weight that I am right now, but my body just looked so fatty. My nipples were puffy. I just looked like, oh my God,
On
like that is
steroids.
terrible. Same exact weight. Yeah, I get accused of that
People
sometimes.
say you're
It's
on the juice now.
hilarious.
They're like, you're on steroids, bro. You had puffy nipples
Yeah.
before, and now look how jacked you look. Everybody in the
Yeah.
chat's
So
flattering you. They're like, vegetable leaf looks buff. Let's see. Vegetable leaf looks
thank you.
buff.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm not gonna scroll up too much, but there's a bunch of comments. He looks great. He looks ripped. He looks buffed. He looks jacked. I think these are meat tards who are just trying to stroke your ego to keep you on this carnivore diet to justify their little their little lives.
It's hilarious because like the carnivores will compliment me, say, "Oh, he's so strong now. He looks so healthy." And then the vegans will say, "Oh, he's so old looking. Look how old he's gotten over 2 weeks." And, "Oh, you look so sickly. You're fat. You're fat. You're so fat." It's
Oh,
the
dude, it's
inflammation from
so
the meat.
funny. Dude,
Yeah.
the internet's like you have your phone or your computer, and it's like this little mirror, and in that mirror gets to whisper every little demon you've ever met in your entire spiritual existence. All of those little demons get to whisper to you all damn day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's so nice. Thank
You
you
get
all
these
for
carnivore
pointing
people
out
who are
my
like,
flaws.
man, vegetable police, like just like stroking your ego like so much. It's like maybe that's not healthy, and then you get the vegan, like every. It's funny, man. What a fucking world.
Yeah, I try not to take the praise or the criticism to heart. I just like, okay, I pretty much look the same. I am stronger for sure, but yeah, it's like I had no idea my armpit hair was too long. My armpit
Oh,
hair is way too long.
damn!
I didn't.
You should trim it up.
Yeah,
Trim that
men
up.
shave it apparently. I thought only like
Really?
swimmers did that
Men
or
shave
something.
those?
I guess so. Mine's too long for
Maybe
the
men who
internet,
watch your
so
channel shave those. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So getting back to my pork belly experiment, I know people are like, "Damn it, he skipped over that."
Where's the pork
So,
belly? Go.
yeah. So I'm eating this like we're estimating maybe 80% fat, ketosis, out the yin yang, and I'm not feeling good. Like I've came to the conclusion that I'm not keto adapted and I need a certain amount of protein or carbs to feel good. And like I think we have a requirement like roughly say 100 grams of carbs we need a day, but we can turn protein into carbs, so we don't need to eat
We
carbs.
could turn fat into
But
carbs too, Mr. Police. Uh,
without any other,
the backbone
I
of
think
fatty
fat
acids,
needs.
glycerol backbone of fatty acid, can be converted into glucose too. So gluconeogenesis will create glucose from both protein and fat, right? So I think,
I've
yeah.
heard that like the to turn the fat into sugar, we need something else from either protein, like it's not just if you ate
Oh
nothing
yeah.
but
Well, there's
butter.
for enzyme production for doing anything in the body, it requires certain like compounds and reaction. But it's not like, oh, you need
Mm.
like tomato seeds or something to do that, and if you don't eat it, but it's it happens in your body,
Yeah.
like your body. But
Hmm.
I'm not really sure how much of the studies have fleshed this out, but most of the gluconeogenesis will be used. It'll be protein, but it's not all
Hmm.
dietary protein. It's like your body's there's amino acid metabolism, just like there's glucose and lipid metabolism. You're constantly turning over protein in different parts of your body, marking proteins, eliminating them, removing them, putting new ones. So it's like, I think it's definitely you're on to something for sure. But
Hmm.
yeah. So all right. So you think you need a certain amount of carb and protein for you to function right. What about fat though? Right, because like that's the energy source that you want to burn.
Yeah, well, what I've noticed, like in the beginning, I was eating mainly just beef and I was entering everything into Chronometer and it's not that accurate. I can't 100% confirm it, but I was getting like 250 grams of protein a day around that time. And it was pretty heavy, like way more than you would ever need to build muscle. but I was feeling fantastic. And I think I wasn't really in ketosis necessarily. I was like burning some fat. Like we always burn some fat and some sugar at all times anyway. But I felt phenomenal. And then I wanted to get the protein down because I was smelling worse and having some pain. So I was like, okay, too much protein's a bad thing and it ages you faster, possibly with the whole mTOR pathway thing that I don't even
Yeah.
understand.
Comments. You don't need to understand that. Just YouTube comments will tell you how much you're aging.
Yeah. So yeah, I've tried getting the protein way down with these pork bellies, and I don't know if it's just that pork bellies do not contain everything I need to live,
I think pork's
but
different. The
or
fat's not as good, man. It's like you got more polyunsaturated.
yeah,
I
it's
think the pork
true.
belly's just not as quality.
It's quite possible. But when I have my pork bellies, but add a little pork collar in there with a little more protein, I come back to life a little bit. And it's like I seem to need a bit more protein than at least pork bellies can provide me with. So it's like it's this interesting balance. It's
What
like
about
you can't go
fish?
too high.
Fish?
Hmm?
You're at the coast now. You're on the ocean. What about fish? Because there are some
Yeah, I
fish, like
try.
swordfish, has got some good fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I've
bigger.
I've
Some
had
people worry
some
about
fish.
mercury. Some people are worried about the fish, but yeah,
Yeah, I do worry about it a little bit, although I've heard like the selenium in fish binds to mercury and it's not a problem. I don't know. It's
probably a lot
possible.
different than getting it injected into your veins. That's for sure. It's probably a lot different than that.
I imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's some of the
better
most
than
healthy
mercury
populations in the
filling.
world. Japan, they love their fish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the like least controversial animal product. It's like, well, at least no, I'm just pescatarian. Fish is okay. It's like
But
pretty
like
much everybody's.
for me, I can do I can do butter, right? So like you don't do butter.
Yeah,
When's the last time you tried butter though? What if that's your next cheat? You try some butter, some good raw butter somewhere.
I'm
Maybe not
thinking
Thailand.
of I'm thinking of ordering grass-fed ghee and trying it. I'm debating it. I know I tried the raw milk and that was messing me right up. And so it's the protein in milk I just can't handle, but ghee shouldn't have any or in such small amounts that it shouldn't matter. I'm still afraid to try it, but yeah, I need more fat for sure. And
Camel
I'm
hump
thinking of
fat.
moving.
I just bought some camel
Yeah.
hump fat that I'm gonna try.
Wow.
Have you heard of this?
No, that's fantastic.
They sell it in the United States. There's a Amish group of people that have been raising camels for quite a while, and they sell raw
Mm.
camel milk as well. Camel hump fat,
Mm.
raw camel milk, and then just normal camel fat. But that
I
doesn't help
imagine
you at
it's
all. I'm
like
trying to figure out what you could eat from a fat source. Because it's like, so suet, have you tried finding suet?
no, I need to like they just don't do beef here in Thailand really. It's pork, chicken, and fish, and beef is pretty rare and no grass-fed unless it's imported from Australia. So I'm actually thinking like I moved here for the fruit. I need to move somewhere else for the beef and get some higher quality animal products because
New Zealand.
I I'm thinking of New Zealand. Like, I'm going back
I
to
love
Canada
lamb.
to be with my girlfriend soon, but it's winter there, and we're gonna put that off at least a little bit. I'm not going back in November, and then it's like, oh, that's a shock. So I need to hold out the winter a little bit, and I'm just debating, like Ecuador. It's pretty
Come
nice, I
check out
hear.
Ecuador, man. All right, here. You want affordable beef? Everybody cover your ears, right? All viewers cover your ears because there's already too many annoying expat hippies here. You'll feel right
Mm.
at home actually in Ecuador because most of the whiteys are like retired old people, so you'll feel right at home. Um,
Yeah, that's what this place is all about. I moved to Hua Hin, and it's just a bunch of old whiteys here.
there's some young whiteys, but most of the
Yeah.
Westerners that are young are I don't know. It's an interesting place, but all right. So we bought, I think about 10 pounds of ribeye today, like ribeye
Hmm.
steaks, individual steaks, and we spent $20 on steak. But looking at this steak, we figured if we were in a dire situation and economically or physically starving or whatever, we're like, you know what, this could feed our family for like 3 days, all of us. and like we probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't lose weight, right? Like, we wouldn't wither away. These steaks that we got for $20, and they're good steaks. They got some fat on them.
Mm-hmm.
You can get some. All right, so ribeyes here we're paying about, I think it's $5 a kilo, or $6 a
Mm.
kilo, which
Mm.
is pretty dang good. It's like $3 a pound for grass-fed ribeyes. We can get fat,
Yeah.
which is nice. Like you can get a jar of donkey fat for $15
Wow.
for just a little jar of donkey fat. It's like, where's the camera? This big, little jar of donkey
I'm a
fat.
donkey bitch shirt.
Dude,
I should just. Oh my God, donkey fat might be my spirit animal.
I'm a
That might
donkey
be
fat
it.
eating donkey bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You can get sheep tallow. Jessica made sheep tallow the other day, and it was just fucking
Wow.
amazing. But yeah, you can get a
Yeah,
lot of fat.
I need to try the beef again because like I was breaking out in crazy acne and I was thinking it's either the magnesium citrate I was taking or the beef was actually doing it. So I eliminated both and I haven't broken out since. And I'm kind of nervous to even add one back. So I'm going to try the beef soon, do another little beef cleanse and see
Yeah,
if it
that
was
might
the
be a good
beef.
idea. Yeah, so
Because if it
you
is,
pulled
then
beef
that
out and you went straight pork.
I went chicken first. So I'm just having like chicken thighs, which are only like 50% fat. So I was getting so much protein. I was worrying, and so much polyunsaturated fats. I feel like you got to be doing the beef and the ruminants like you say. It's like if you're going to do this long term, that's the healthier fat. It's chicken and pork. I don't know, doesn't seem right. Too much omega-6 and then how do
I
you
just think
balance
they're
that?
like, as far as nutrition goes, the ruminants are superior. I mean, like probably the fatty acid profile, but also the amino acid profile, maybe even just like the micronutrients and the minerals in there. That deep red color. There's just something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I felt more satiated on the beef as well. I'm like, even though I'm eating to satiation still, I'm still doing one meal a day. I find that fantastic. I'm eating early in the morning now. Like, I'll eat pretty much, I'll work out after this interview and then eat. And then I just feel so like I get a little tired sometimes after this meal, but after an hour or so, I come back to life and like the rest of the day is just phenomenal. And I have so much energy in the evening and I prefer the evening anyway. It's just I feel more creative in the evening. I can make music, make videos, and it's just like I like the evening time. So it's just perfect and I sleep better. So I like the early morning meal as opposed to the evening meal.
That's
And I'm
cool. I've
starting to
Yeah, I've been kind of
go
talking
ahead.
about that for a little while, trying to, intermittent fasting. Most people push it back to the end of the day. Sometimes I do that.
Mhm.
Today I did that, and one meal at the very end of the day. Um,
Mhm.
but especially for women, I find that women hormonally, if they push back that first meal, your cortisol kind of goes up, stress hormones go up. Especially like
Mm.
mothers or really hardworking women, I feel like they're hormonally set up to kind of respond more strongly to those fasting periods. So I usually say try eating in the morning, and sometimes it helps a lot with hunger throughout the day. Sometimes people get
Yeah, I
tired
bet.
after the first meal, though.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm battling. I'm wondering if I can avoid it or just embrace it, lay down, listen to some Primal Edge Health podcasts, and just relax.
What if you? I mean, you could try splitting two meals. If I'm trying to gain weight, that's what I do. I do two meals. I do a morning meal and an evening
Mm.
meal if I'm gaining weight. And if I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna do one
Yeah,
meal. It's just basically like that's my routine. It's like if I were to tell someone else to do that, it would be kind of useless. But it depends on how refined your habits are, right? So your habits now, it's like you're doing one meal a day. You want to get in a little bit more calories. I mean, to put all those calories in one meal can be hard. And then, of course, you're gonna feel a little bit fatigued afterwards. You're trying to grow. You're trying to gain. So that maybe
yeah, it's
two meal.
true. Yeah, I'm not really gaining. It's like I have a friend in Chiang Mai, Daniel Drury. He's all into the carnivore diet. He does eat some fruit as well, but he's all into the raw meat. He has a YouTube channel. Everybody go subscribe to Daniel Jury. Link is down below.
There you go.
Or is it? Yeah,
Link
so
is
he
somewhere.
he
Link is somewhere in Google if you just search it.
yeah, so we both used to do the one meal a day diet following Dr. Amin Ra. We were both vegans and we're like, yeah, this is optimal. But he found when he went to the animal products, he didn't need that anymore. the one meal. And so he just eats all day long pretty much. He's having his raw milk and drinking blood now, I think. Getting some blood. Have you ever tried blood?
I've not drinking blood. I've tried blood, but not like drinking large amounts of blood. I don't feel a need to add it in. I don't know, like I kind of not something I'm too keen on.
Yeah.
I like brain
Yeah,
though.
so
I'll eat the raw brain. I'll eat the raw
yeah, I
marrow.
want to try that.
And I
I want to
actually
try
really
that
do
brain.
like raw meat. I think raw meat might be the easiest digested food in the world. You know, good fresh raw
Mm.
meat. I really do think it's one of the most easily assimilable and digestible foods. Beef,
I
in
will say
particular.
this, like, yeah, people say that meat, oh, like even cooked foods, like they leave this residue in the body, and you can tell, like, just cook some oatmeal and even empty that bowl, and that bowl just gets this hardened crust and it's sticky, and like you can't even wash that. And I was eating raw meat a while ago. I was having some raw ribeye steaks in the airport, actually. And yeah, so I had it all over my hands, and I was like, I had no time to wash my hands, and there was nothing. It was just absorbed into my body. They weren't
It was
sticky.
like a
Like if you were
healing
holding a mango.
experience, right? To eat meat with your
Yeah,
hands, to eat it raw. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't like unclean. This isn't weird. This is just food, and you can feel. You take a little bite, and it just kind of melts in your mouth. You're like, oh yeah, you don't need to cook
hmm
this.
yeah, I don't even use forks or utensils anymore. I just pick up my giant hunk and rip into it, and it's like,
Do you always go eat at the
yeah.
airport
So
just to disturb people? You're like the taking
yeah,
note from
every day.
Sverige. Goes to the airport and
No,
has
I
his
was
lunch.
so nervous to do it. Like I felt ashamed. I was just like, oh my God, I had it in this bag, and I'm like, I didn't want anybody to see me. I'm like,
And nobody
oh
probably
my
gave
God,
a
I'm
shit.
just,
People who saw it were probably like, oh, that's kind of cool. I never thought of that.
yeah, probably. But I was just fascinated that there was no residue. If you hold a mango, it's all sticky. It's like, what's that doing inside your body? Sticking up your blood. And potatoes, it's like all these foods are constipating, and just the meat, there's nothing there, especially raw meat. It's like, wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if that holds any.
If I get like if my stomach gets disrupted for whatever reason, that'll be the first food I crave. It's really weird. Like the first foods I'll crave, like coming out of having like a flu or something, or if I just like my digestion got off or something, I'll want to eat raw meat, raw liver,
Mm,
and raw bone marrow. Certain bone marrow, the
yeah.
softer type of marrow. There's two different types of marrow. One of them's more tallowy and a little bit more I don't know, almost like collagen rich, like it's real thick and dry. And then there's this other type that's really gooey and really soft and almost
Mm,
buttery. And that's the stuff
nice.
I really like raw.
Yeah, you get used to it. Like I was having all just cooked beef, and then I was trying raw, and initially it's like it's not as satisfying, it's not as delicious, it's not as fun. But once you start eating it, you start craving that more than the cooked. But I was
Totally
noticing
agree.
I
Totally
had
agree.
some
The
stomach
more you eat it,
pains.
the more you like. I don't know. It's just it feels better in the mouth. Believe it or not, like a
Mm,
cooked steak tastes amazing. But man, I don't know. It just the more I eat raw meat, the more I want raw meat. I'm not saying everybody should do
yeah,
it, but I bet that there's other people out there who probably feel the same way.
yeah, I want to get back into it again. I just like I was getting some stomach pains from it, but this is like Thailand questionable beef over here, so you got to get a good source.
Yeah, man, I get mine pretty fresh, and I do notice that I'm very, I'm very tuned in to like the timeline of when I'm gonna eat this raw meat. Like there comes a point where it's like if it starts to get slimy or something, I'm not gonna eat it raw. But there are people who
Yeah.
ferment meat. That's a funny one. Have you thought about making yourself some high meat?
Was watching Stray Ridge the other day, and he pulls out a chicken leg, and he's like, "This is a 3-day old chicken leg. It's already starting to smell bad." And he just ate it, and I was like, "I would never eat that. I
That's
would
so
just
funny.
never." And
Yeah, I don't do
yeah,
chicken raw. I can't go there. Never done that.
yeah, I'm a little afraid of that. But yeah, the high meat, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I've never noticed a benefit from fermented plant foods, and everybody's like, that's the key to digestive health, probiotics and fermented foods. I've never noticed a benefit. I do wonder if fermented meat would be a different culture of bacteria. I mean, obviously it would be. It wouldn't be the sugar eating kind, and maybe those are beneficial. I would definitely try it. I'm just afraid to make it because
Yeah,
it
that's
smells
how
so
I was
bad,
for a
apparently.
while. I've actually started some high liver. So yeah, I'm
Mm.
making some liver now. It's a week old, It already smells good to me. That's what's funny. Even after a week, like it's starting to get a little funk, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like a cheesy smell. I could see where this is going, and I
Interesting.
like it. And
Yeah.
I hadn't even tried it. I smelled it, and I was like, I'm kind of craving this. Shut it back up, and so I'm
Yeah.
gonna open it each day. I'll see what happens. I'm open.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be scary the first time I try it, but I've never gotten sick eating raw meat. That's one of the things. My son, he got sick for about a week. He got his first little flu. There's this gnarly flu going around. All these kids got it around here. It was funny. It was his first flu. The first food he wanted to eat
Mm.
when he came out of it, he asked for like raw meat. Like I
Mm.
had marrow bones, and I'll eat the meat off the marrow bones because it's really good, nice and soft
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And he asked for that, and like the former me inside of me was like, uh-oh, I don't know, is that safe? But then he came up and asked for it. He's a 2-year-old kid. Like you could see him testing out the waters. He had breast milk up until that point for several days, and he wasn't eating anything else. And he came and he asked me for the raw meat. I gave him a bite. Gave him a bite of the raw marrow. Gave him some raw liver.
Mm.
The next day, he ate like 3 pounds of food and gained all his weight back. And was like, oh wow, yeah, he's a little chubby baby again. But it's yeah, I like the raw stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never gotten like food poisoning from it. I've had some stomach aches from the questionable quality of it, but like I used to get sick because I'm cooking like 5-day-old slimy meat and I'm just like, oh my God, and I would get sick and throw up. I haven't thrown up in a long ass time, over a month. Like it was a problem in the beginning. I just kept buying this, like keeping meat too long, and I didn't understand that was
Well,
the
part of it
problem.
could have
So
been the gut changes too, right? I mean, remember you're completely changing your gut microbiome like profoundly. And
yeah, it
I
could
guess the
be.
vegan argument is it's dangerous what you're doing. You're removing all the digestible fiber. But it's like even Rhonda Patrick the other day, she's talking to Joe Rogan. She made the point. She was saying, oh, well, a carnivore diet is stupid because it's pulling out all the fiber and you need those bacteria. We know the bacteria are good because we've got these like association studies and stuff like that. But then she says,
Mm-hmm.
well, one of the reasons it may be working is because it's fasting mimicking. And we know that. And she
Mm.
goes into this thing. Well, we know that studies show that when you fast somebody for a long time, it completely regenerates the immune system and they get improved microbiota diversity, she calls it, which we don't even know if that's necessarily good, diverse microbiome. It's like, who's to say that that's good? It's like diversity in what? And what is a diverse, what is balanced diet? Like, these are all just weird terms to me. And it's hard. I don't like
Yeah.
using them. But she even said, like,
Yeah.
fasting can improve microbiota diversity. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
she said that pulling out all plants is dangerous because you're going to ruin your microbiome. But pulling out all food in general is good and it's going to heal you. So it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think we need to
Yeah.
flesh out these ideas more.
Yeah, people keep sending me that video. I watched it and I came away with it like we don't know. Nobody knows if the carnivore diet is healthy or not long term. It's like, what do the bacteria, what role do they play if you remove the plant fibers and they don't eat that? Okay, then you don't need those bacteria. Like they break down the sugar in the fiber and then they do stuff, but it's like if you don't have that in your diet, why do you need those bacteria? You have different ones that break down meat. Are they bad? Are they the evil
And
bacteria?
if
I
you
don't
look at a
know.
test, they might have already made these assumptions like, okay, well, these bacteria are good and these bacteria have decreased on this diet. But there might be other bacteria that people aren't even measuring for and testing for that are breaking down these compounds that are having immune. It's just there's so many factors that could be going on and that are likely
Hmm.
going on that need to be studied and need to be fleshed out because we all know that there's bacteria that break down carbs, that break down fiber. There are also bacteria
Hmm.
that break down meat, that break down fat. So, I mean, what are we measuring for these? Or are we just obsessing over lactobacillus? It's just we need lactobacillus in the greatest amount as possible. I think that's kind of short-sighted.
Yeah, I know somebody that OD'd on Lactobacillus acidophilus. They were taking so much. I forget what happened, but it was just like, oh my God, they had major digestive issues from that. It's like, yeah, we don't know long term, is this healthy? Nobody knows anything. I was laughing. I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast with Chris Kresser and the vegan guy. Did you watch that one? And they're
Yeah, the
battling
aptly
back and
named
forth.
Dr. Joel Kahn. Yes.
Yeah. And it
I
was
like Joel
just
Kahn's
so
intro. His intro
cringy.
was so funny. He was like, I would watch that right now, but I don't want. I'll have to screen share and everything. The intro was hilarious with Joel Kahn. He's like, "Badass. I'm from Chicago, Motor City, badass, vegan 20 years." It was just it was really funny. At one point, he's like, "Which
Hey,
one
he
of us
looked
is a
good.
scientist? Which one of us in this room is a scientist?" He does look. He
Hmm.
looks all right for 62, Mr. Kahn. He does look
Yeah,
all
he
right.
looks good. He looks
It looks like
healthy. So
he'll
does
give
Chris
Doctor.
Kresser.
Yeah, Kahn looks like he'll give Dr. Gregor a run for his money in an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, that'd be a must-see TV there.
That's how
But
you
I
really win
found
people over.
the whole interview was a bit cringy because they're just both, oh, this study showed that this and then they counter it, oh no, but the meat eaters, they in this study, it's like none of the studies were probably very accurate, and it's like you're all quoting a bunch of lie biased studies, and oh my God.
Is
I
is that what you took away? Is just like, all right, both sides are doing the same game and you're looking at the same data and trying to interpret it in a way that fits your narrative. Who cares?
It's like they both had evidence to prove that their diet was better than the other one. And so like what do you do with that? Like they're both just proved and debunked each other. Like who's right then? It's like science doesn't always work. Like we need much better science to be determining that. And I much prefer like just looking at people, observing. People don't like anecdotal studies. It's like that's the best thing. Like what are humans healing chronic disease on? I want to know. It's like did this person heal MS on a paleo diet? Why did that happen? Is it repeatable? Look, all these people are doing it. It's like, okay, there's something to that. Let's study that. I just like hearing human experiences. Like, oh, I overcame this doing this. Okay, let's start trying it.
Wait up. I want to see a double-blind, placebo-controlled study that proves that you just said what you just said, or else I don't believe it. It's not happening. I don't even believe you
Yeah,
exist. I don't see a double-blind, peer-reviewed study to show that you even exist, vegetable police. The science,
I
it's
can't prove
nowhere in
it.
the science that you exist or that it even matters if you exist. I want to see
It's
studies.
true. I wonder if you exist. Like when I go and do something else after this talk, do you continue existing in your world or do you just exist in my mind and maybe when I see you again, okay, things will have advanced because my mind made you advance, but do you actually exist? Does anything
This is
exist?
it's funny because these are like philosophical concepts that people were talking about 300 years ago too, right? I mean, this is like, but these, yeah, I think the study offs, or I don't know, it's like stalemate debates, right? The whole nutrition debate, I think it's going to be perpetual stalemate. No matter how much you
Hmm.
look at this, I mean, you could find everybody can go out there on PubMed and search the scientific literature that already exists and cherry pick shit to back up their ideology that they already believe. Really, what it comes down to for me, how can you eat that allows you to be fertile, right? You're fertile, pass
Hmm.
on your genes, have families. Got the Eat Meat Make Families show. Got the Eat Meat Make Families sweater. Repping that. So
Mm.
what can you eat to allow you to be fertile, to have energy throughout the day, to not be farting, bloating, shitting, um, pissed off, grumpy, depressed. I mean,
Yeah,
do
that's a big
that.
one.
Like, eat that way. That allows you to not be all those things that you don't want to freaking be, and it allows you to just live your life. Eat that. And you know what? When you look at, I don't know. I'm a huge fan. I think that Weston Price's book, and I've talked about this for a while. I know people get sick of it, and other people talk about it too and try and thump on the book. But it's a freaking important book. It's an important piece of literature to look back. It's not literature even. It's just like this is history and anthropology, looking at these pre-contact, not even pre-contact, but pre-genocide cultures when these people are
Mm.
healthy, happy, and living connected to their land and not importing foods. What are they eating? They're eating loads of animal fats, animal foods, fish from the sea, some carbohydrates that they can grow seasonally, although some of them can't grow very much, like in the Hebrides Islands, those Gaelic populations. They had basically no carbs except some seaweed and some oat cakes that they would make, and they would stuff it with cod liver and cod, and they would eat loads of fish. That was their whole diet, and they were healthy, happy, strong,
Hmm.
freaking people. So it's like I think when you look, there are
Yeah.
many examples of this in this book as well. Of cultures that were still strong and healthy, no tuberculosis, no dental disease, no messed up teeth, and They were all eating abundant animal foods from their environment with some plant foods, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
prove that carnivore diet is perfect. When you look at this book, these accounts, it's like these people are eating some plant foods. Some groups were eating very few of these plant foods and only doing it every once in a while. But you don't see any of them eating exclusively bananas or saying 30 bananas a day. It's like
Yeah.
you don't see it.
Yeah, it's true. It's like we just have to do what works for us. And like the vegans, they bring up a lot of studies and they make some good points. It's like, okay, say just take a study that shows red meat increases colon cancer risk. And it's like, okay, there seems to be a correlation there, but then these people are eating pizza and bread. Like nobody knows what they're eating. The red meat could be increasing your risk, but we don't know based on that study. There's no actual proof that eating like just a ketogenic diet, you got like just red meat and broccoli and avocados, does that cause colon cancer? We have no studies to show that. So you can't bring me these studies
And
that show,
also,
oh,
yeah,
look at
right.
this.
Or even, all right, so take it one step further. Or what about if you're just eating meat and then you remove the broccoli and avocados versus if you're doing, like which one is better, which one is healthier? And obviously, I don't think it's going to be across the board. We're going to see different people whose guts can handle different foods. Hey, if you can digest the plants, you like the plants, eat
Mm-hmm.
the plants. And I think a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
get confused and they think that anybody who's talking about a carnivore diet believes that plants are evil, right? It's like that's really not what's going on here. Yes, there's some extremes of like whatever, and maybe some Twitter accounts that'll say shit like that. But really, I mean, it's just we need a dialogue here. We have people that are experimenting with something that's pretty cutting edge to most people, and not really so
Mm-hmm.
accepted in the mainstream. And it's pushing open this window and allowing people to see, oh wow, this needs to be explored. And I think that's really really important, especially all this with all the lab grown meat stuff coming out now, and the Memphis
Mm.
meats and the Beyond Burger. This real push for like more processed meat replacements, and telling us that meat is bad. I think it's important for people to consider, and look to rural areas as well, like where we live here. Like these people are where I live. You need meat. You need ruminant animals. That's the only viable source of nutrition that you can actually grow in a reasonable amount of time and feed everybody that's here. And people don't understand
Mm-hmm.
that there's regional differences in like, the availability of food, the availability of soil. It's like on the rain-swept Andes, ruminant animals have historically been the main food source. And that was from alpaca before, um, but most of those tribes have gone way high up in the mountains now, and are kind of living on their own. Still completely married to their alpaca. They're still using animal husbandry, and living basically just off of that animal. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean that's what I see out here too in Thailand. It's mostly like even though it's a tropical climate, so vegans would think there's fruit everywhere, but every little village I've seen, it's always they got a bunch of chickens in the yard, some cows eating the grass in the field, even though they don't sell it to us locals here. For some reason, we can't get grass-fed beef here. I don't understand where it goes to, but
dude, they
they're
slaughter
everywhere.
with their families, and they divide it up, and they
Yeah,
use all the
probably.
parts of it. So just like here, it's like there's small meat markets, open air meat markets. The right person, they'll tell you when they're going to slaughter an animal, and it's like it's this family style, and I think that's important. It's like really local foods is where it's at.
Yeah, that seems to be what people do, and they're fishing, and yeah, it's much easier than growing a field of corn, and easier to digest as well. Corn's a nightmare for me, at least. Even organic corn really gave me stomach aches.
Have you had any like plant foods? You added any plant foods at all lately to try to
Yeah,
see
I'm
if you can
trying. I
digest them?
I tried some 99% chocolate. That's an interesting little thing.
And what's the
I'm
result there?
trying that.
Because cacao, I love chocolate. Like I've got chocolate right here. I've got a chocolate in my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even eaten chocolate in like a month though, just because I don't know. I mess around with my diet all the time. Like I go super elemental sometimes. I like to play around. And I get blood work all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Just test different things. Um, Chocolate's got some oxalate, a little bit of oxalate in it, and
Yeah, I
that's kind of
seem
the
to
only
be
thing.
fine with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I'm wondering, like I react to histamines mostly. I'm not sure if I react to oxalates. Like everybody has an oxalate limit. I don't care how healthy your digestion is. Like Goji Man will say, hey, you can always just break down the oxalates if you have good digestion. But I give anybody a chance. Eat a bunch of
Like I don't
I
see
can't
any
even
evidence for that at all, right? Like he says that, but where's the evidence? What are these what are the oxalate breaking down compounds in the gut? And I mean, it's just I haven't seen this demonstrated. I could be wrong. He could be right, but I'd love to see.
well, like everybody can disable a certain amount of it, but like we all have that limit. Like try to eat 3 pounds of Swiss chard, and then you'll find out what your limit is. I don't care how healthy you are. You're gonna have a limit of oxalate. So some people can digest more than others. Some can't handle any. It's like, but you can only strengthen to a certain point. It's like a lot of these plant toxins got to be limited in the diet.
Yeah, it seems
That's
like
the
some
best
people
way.
can handle a lot of these plant toxins for a long time, and then sometimes suddenly those people just can't handle them anymore. I've seen that with people too, and that's a weird thing. I mean, so usually it
Yeah.
seems to come after a stressful event or a traumatic event in their life, and then kind of an autoimmune reaction usually comes after
Yeah,
that.
people were saying the pain I was experiencing could have been oxalate detox. Like I just accumulated
That's what
so
I was
much
gonna
from all
say,
the
man.
vegetable juicing. Could be. Could be.
There was a woman who messaged me recently. It was either a message or a comment, and she said that her kid got kidney stones, calcium oxalate kidney stones, because they were doing a lot of spinach smoothies on a vegan
Mm-hmm.
diet, and her child got
Yeah.
kidney stones from that. I definitely
It's
noticed on a
real.
vegan diet that my hip pains, my kind of arthritic type pains, where I was never diagnosed arthritic, but I'm sure if I'd kept on my lifestyle of Ben and Jerry's and Burger King, I would have been there. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I definitely noticed on a vegan diet seemingly worsening symptoms, and I thought it was detox. I thought it was just detoxing. But maybe on
Yeah,
carnivore, you
like
are just detoxing. On vegan, you're not just detoxing. But on carnivore,
it's very
any
possible.
pain, any poo poo being not normal,
Yeah.
it's all just detox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you
But
can
there,
test it yourself. I mean, if you make a vegetable juice with, like, I used to juice vegetables all the time. Head of celery, lemon, and ginger is a good base, and then you add a dark leafy green. Whenever I did Swiss chard, I used to get just the burning in my mouth. Like,
mm-hmm.
it
Chard's
doesn't matter
horrible.
how strong. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And like no matter how strong your digestion is, you have say you followed Goji Man's protocol to a T, you're perfect now. It's still burning my tongue. It's still like it's instant. It's instant. Like the oxalates are damaging. They're just you can't have too much of them. So I noticed this. Even Life Regenerator told me he never juices Swiss chard. He can feel it right away, and he's supposed to be the healthiest man alive. So,
Supposed to be, according to who?
according, I don't know. He looks pretty healthy.
According to legend. Legend says.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, the oxalate. So the chocolate not bothering you at all. Do you feel good when you eat the chocolate, or do you feel neutral?
I haven't noticed a change at all. So I'm adding some things like I eat one orange now. I squeeze it, no fiber, just squeeze some juice. I'm having a little orange juice with apple cider vinegar before my meal, and I wanna head towards like a ketogenic diet, like a regular one with some broccoli and some normal foods. It's
You know
like
what's
I don't
funny?
want to
After
be
five
carnivore
years of
forever.
doing, yeah, after 5 years of doing a ketogenic diet, and slowly kind of realizing I don't need all this fiber. I don't need all these vegetables. I find myself like I like them. I like vegetables. I could probably digest them pretty well right now. I maybe probably have to readapt to eating them slowly, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm a weirdo, man. I just look at them like, why? Like, why? It's like, okay, yeah, sure. On paper, sounds cool, sounds good, but it's like
Hmm.
when it comes down to it, crunching the numbers of the time and the energy, it's like I could just make like a steak and crack open some raw
Hmm.
egg yolks and give the whites to my dog, and I can have some raw bone marrow and feel amazing without having to
Hmm.
steam spinach, without having to make fermented vegetables. It's like I look at it and it's like if I had to, I would eat that.
Yeah, I guess I look at it more as just like being safe. in the long term, like, okay, vegetables are pretty well studied. It's like they're pretty beneficial if you can handle. Like, if I start getting gassy and bloated and I experience negative symptoms from them, I'm not going to continue on with it. But if I don't notice any pain and we're good to go, I think they'd be beneficial. And some
Titration is
fruits
probably the
for,
way. Like to, I mean, if you all right, so you add a huge serving of spinach in or something. Well, spinach is very high in oxalate too, so I would probably avoid that one.
hmm
But you know, say you want to add broccoli or cauliflower or
yeah,
something. I would just titrate it in. You know, like a third
yeah,
of what you
one
think you.
little
Yeah, one
floret.
floret to start. Really
Yeah.
though, and then the next day a little bit more, couple day break, and then a little bit more. I think that's
hmm
the way to go because I think what happens to a lot of people, they could do an elimination diet, they add a food in way too fast, and then they're just like,
Yeah.
they feel trash. It's like, yeah, of course you couldn't digest that. It's like you're a baby.
hmm
You give a baby who's just weaned off of milk any food for the first time, especially if it's like, a food that does have a lot of defense mechanisms. They're not going to digest it well. So I think I think titrating in is the way to go. But to be safe, I don't know. It's a funny
hmm
thing to me. I think the more I look at this stuff, the more I look at it, the more it's just like I don't know. I think the veggies are really optional. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing. I will not judge
hmm
you. I won't kick you out of I won't kick you off the internet for
hmm
for eating the vegetables. Frank Tufano might.
Yeah.
He might kick your ass for that.
Yeah, he will.
He will.
Definitely.
Because I mean,
But
you
yeah.
were never vegan enough, and now you're just kind of never carnivore enough. Because in orange, I mean, come on, dude, not carnivore enough, bro.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not just like getting the dogmatic approach about this either. It's like
Yeah,
I'm not staying carnivore forever.
that's the way to
I'd
go.
like fruit is delicious. I mean, I love having my little bit of orange juice and little bit here and there seasonal fruit. Like, why wouldn't you have some berries
I got a
every
deal
once in a
for you.
while
I
if
got
they
a deal
don't?
for you. We've got like 20 orange trees on our property, and they're just dropping oranges everywhere. You fly out
Oh
to
my God.
Ecuador. You build my house for me, and I'll let you eat oranges. How about
Okay,
that? You do all the
let's
physical
do it.
labor, all the manual labor, and in return, you can eat one of my cows and oranges.
Okay, as long as I can have the cow, because it was just the oranges, I wouldn't have the strength to build your house.
True, true. You have to slaughter the cow yourself and
Mm.
make a video.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Just drink its blood live.
Oh, you could do that for Spherage's
Mm.
channel. Or as you call it, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Three rich? Three.
It's three rich.
You somehow
You
get the
have to
three in
drink.
there. I like that. It's three rich.
It's his fault for putting it in there. So he's
Have you
three
guys
rich
talked?
now.
You talked to him at all?
No, I think he doesn't like me. I think he is either offended by the videos. Like, I'm just poking fun. Like, he's a fun character,
I feel
and
like
I've
he's
watched him for
never
years.
offended. I feel like he just can't. I feel like Spherage can't hold a grudge. The guy eats
I
babies. Come
just
on. He promotes eating babies.
I
He
feel
doesn't
like
hold a grudge.
whenever I'm mentioned to him, he kind of like his mood lowers a bit. He's like, his smile turns into a straight face, and like he's very dismissive of anybody bringing my name up. So
You heard
I think
him.
he's
You heard him, vegetable
I did
police.
make a bunch of anti-raw meat videos, and he is a character. I do Q&As of his. I should actually do one. I'm curious to see the response now that I'm carnivore. Because I get comments all the time. Oh, look, they on those old videos. They're like, "Oh, you're carnivore now. Look what you used to say." It's like,
Dude, you could do
yeah,
all
well,
right. So if you guys don't get along, if you guys haven't made up yet, what if you made a former vegan video on your channel of Three Ridge interviewing you, like you interview you as Three Ridge for a former vegan video, and you can offer him he can mirror it onto his channel if he wants. I think
yeah,
that's
maybe I'll do. That's a good idea,
it's a great
actually.
icebreaker.
Yeah, but Three Ridge, if you're watching, I apologizing to you right now. I'm sorry I make your raw meat look bad, but it's actually healing the body when you have cricket 14. It's a nutrient vegans don't even get. It's actually beneficial. I was wrong. I'm sorry. So forgiving me, please. Yeah, I'm sorry, Three Ridge.
He's a nice guy,
Yeah, he's
man. He's a nice guy. Even
oh,
though, like,
he is.
I
I
don't agree with
actually
him on many things. It's like He's he's nice. I will say that Spherage seems like a pretty nice guy. I guess the vegans at the festival they traumatized with that goat head would disagree, or no, the goat liver or whatever he ate.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like him. I've always liked his videos. He used to help me with it. We were both trying vegan ketogenic and failing hard, and I was asking him some questions and it just wasn't working, but yeah, he's thriving now, so good for him.
I think that's all right. So when I actually did ban Spherage, is because that I had remembered in the back of my mind because he had commented on my channel when he was a vegan, asking about doing vegan keto, and then I saw a comment from him later on. I was just like, oh, that's got to be a troll. Delete. It was just like the vegan in the back of my mind. I still just thought he was coming out for the vegan side. But
Yeah, I go through swings of getting ban happy and not caring. Like I love reading my comments. I want to see the feedback of the videos I make. But when you get so much now, it's like thousands of comments. I don't really want to hear the same people that are always negative and they only ever
it's
post
always the same
negative
ones. They
stuff.
come back. It's like there's
I've
like 200 of them, and I've got them all blocked. And if you go to any other videos, it's like they're always top comment on hench herbivore fucking videos and stuff. That's just like
yeah,
it's the same people. There's like maybe 1,000 of them, and that's
yeah.
and they're so loud. But we don't understand. This is less than 3% of the real population in the world, and most people that are vegans online have never really had vegan friends in real life. So it's hard. It's like there's not a lot of I don't know. There's not a lot of like community for them. So I think a lot of it is just you see some of the same names all the time. But I've got you all banned.
Yeah.
That's why none of them have even popped up. I've only banned one person from the chat tonight. It's great.
Yeah,
And
it's nice not to hear
it's great.
because I've heard their opinions. I know what they've said. It's like, okay, I'm a terrible person. I get it. It's like, thank you for your opinion, and like you're no longer able to talk here. I don't have to hear that. It's like I love that feature. Hide user from channel. It's like,
Hide
oh
user's
wow,
fun
thank
because
you, YouTube.
hide user they can still comment. They just think that they're commenting, but they're not.
Yeah, that's the funniest part because they leave so much hate. So really, you're only damaging yourself. Like you're getting angry for half an hour typing up a thing. It's like take that, and then nothing happens. So it's kind of fun, and I've noticed a big trend. Like I got a lot of hate, obviously, from the vegan community when I went carnivore, and I just noticed my dislikes rise exponentially with the amount of vegans. Like it's just every video now, no matter what it is, I'm good for 100 dislikes, no matter
Yeah.
what. It's like
I cry if I
they
get
just
10.
don't want to see me. Yeah,
Now,
it
I've
hurts.
got about 10 of them that insta dislike mine, but I think I've whittled most of them down because a lot of them have multiple accounts too. So it's like there was a thread on some vegan made a video like talking some shit to me, and I made a comment, and in the thread all the responses are like instant. It's like as soon as you comment on a vegan video, there's all the people that are on my banned list fucking commenting
Yes.
on my comment. So I'm just like, oh, I know that name. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like Vegan Warrior or whatever, like, or Circle V 666. Like, oh yeah, that fucker. I remember banning you. So they all come
Yeah.
and they're all really mad still. And they all know
Yep.
so much about you. It's very nice that they care so much about your life. And there was a punchline to the story about something or other, but I forget. But oh yeah,
Yeah.
one of the guys said somebody made a comment. It's like, oh, you piece of shit, Tristan, you banned me from your channel. You're terrible. This and that. And then the next comment was like, I liked that so much that I upvoted it 3 times. And then another guy was like, yeah, me too. It's like, and the comment had like 6 likes. So it's like, well, you guys are 90% of the likes, and that's just 2 people who hate me. So it's just like, this is how they
Yeah,
roll.
I get that all the time when I comment on a vegan channel and then I see all the people that I've banned already. It's like, oh, there they are. Still at it, I see.
I
There's
just
this
like to,
one guy, uh his name's Mojo, and he just started hating on me
dude,
from the
I
beginning and
know
he's
Mojo,
still,
all caps, 2
oh
words.
yeah.
Yeah, Mojo.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mojo, you degenerate. You're still
Yeah.
banned on my channel. You probably try to comment
How's it
right
going,
now.
Mojo? Because I go through periods where I unban everybody sometimes, but he's one that just stays banned. It's like, no, you don't unban Mojo. That's just like you never unban Mojo.
These guys are legends,
That
and
guy
none of them
just,
have content, but they all have lots of comments. But yeah,
yeah, it's interesting how much hate they have for somebody else that they've never met.
and how much time they spend
It's
learning
weird.
about your life is always funny. And because then they'll cherry pick things and take them out of context intentionally, and you're like, oh damn, you really dug for that. Like you really studied my channel to try and find a reason to hate me, and that's really twisted. That's cool. Like you spent about 4 hours studying my life to write that hateful comment that probably fermented and stewed inside of you for several months. Like, touche,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Good work, young lad. Yeah,
I
it's
think it's a
weird.
hard
It's
job, like
weird.
trolling somebody for that long.
Yeah, it is. You'd have to study. Like, I could troll people if I wanted to. If Vegan Gains ever comes out with a video against me, I have a bunch of ammo and I could study his channel and like come back with a bunch of stuff, but I don't, that's just hurting me, myself. I don't want to bring him down. I want him to be happy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like you kick a dog when it's down. It's like, dude, this guy fucking mutilated himself and gave himself a vasectomy, hates his life, super bad digestive problems, like all this, just this self-loathing. It's like you don't want to add to that. Like you want people like that to get healthy. You want people like that to get out of the rut and to not be depressed. But it's hard when they're constantly like, just rubbing themselves in shit. The dog pukes and then it goes and licks up its vomit again. It's hard to not say, "What the fuck? What are you doing? Don't lick up your vomit.
Yeah.
You just puked it up."
Yeah, but I hope he thrives. I hope all vegans thrive. It's like sometimes I'll get a comment saying, "Well, I'm vegan and I feel better than ever. How do you explain that?" I'm like, I explain it because you're healthy and you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Like I never said it doesn't work for everybody. It can work. It's just it's tough to digest and you need a good iron gut to digest all the plants and get what you need, and it can be done. And some people are better at it than others, but it's tough if you have a digestive weakness to build that up on plants. I don't know.
Have you
I
ever
don't know.
met
I
somebody
didn't.
who's done long-term veganism and works manual labor,
Um.
like construction or auto
Yeah.
mechanic, like somebody who's long-term vegan and can handle an 8-hour workday manual job? Because I just not saying
Yes.
it doesn't exist. I've just never met one. That's all.
Well, I am one. I was a window cleaner as a basically fruitarian, and
But then
I
you
could
quit.
do
You
it.
said it was too much. I thought you said it was so exhausting. You didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, but I could get through the days. Like I could do it. Like I would bring some grapes and I'd have a smoothie. And but like the reality is when I was holding this heavy bucket of water, like I'm a high-rise window cleaner trying to attach my bucket and chair to a rope, and I was leaning over the edge, I cracked my rib. So it's like it was, and I've that's been a reoccurring injury, and it hasn't happened for like over a year now. I think I'm finally healed. Got carnivore ribs now, but like
Carnivores.
yeah, my body was weakened on that fruitarian approach. So yeah, I had enough energy to get through the day and do that. And I do know there's a guy named David Kelly back in Toronto. He's actually the father of one of my best friends from high school. And I stopped, like, his son moved away and I started hanging out with his dad. He was vegan. And I saw him at a festival one day. I was like, get out of here. You're vegan too? And he had a YouTube channel. So we just started hanging out. He's a great guy. And he was vegan for like 9 years, I believe. And in the summers, he would do landscaping work. And yeah, he could do it. He could do it. But
Nice.
he's no longer vegan now. He's started
Oh, okay.
adding in animal products and he got a lot of hate. Once a week, the guy eats meat and he got so much hate.
I wonder if he looks forward to that day, like every single week.
I imagine so. I imagine so.
I
It's a
would, but I
glorious
can't
day.
do a meal where it's not like it's so hard for me to consider a meal if it doesn't have meat now.
Yeah, like
And now I'm like egg yolks. Now I'm really into just the yolk. I used to eat the whole egg, but I do a lot of egg
mm,
yolks now. That might be something that can save your ass with the fats, right? Because you're trying to find a way to get
yeah,
more fats in. Raw egg yolk, you get rid of the white. Most if you got a sensitivity, it's usually to the white. and it's really easy to get it out. You know how to get the yolk out, right? You just crack it in half and you
Yeah.
toss it back and forth, or you can use a spoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I just pour it into my hand and let the white seep through my fingers. That seems to work. We get some good quality duck eggs out here. The darkest yolk I've ever seen in my life, like
All those
dark
bugs,
orange,
eating all those mosquitoes.
free range. Yeah, free range duck eggs, and they're cheap. They're like, I forget how much, but like 50 baht for 10, I believe, which is like $2 Canadian or something.
They're
But
50
yeah,
cents.
like I
50
just,
cents a piece here for duck eggs.
damn. But I noticed I was burping a little bit from having them. It could be the whites. If I tried just the yolks, maybe, but
Try the
yeah,
yolk,
I
man.
don't know.
Try the yolk. Try two of those duck yolks, like with a meal or something, and see what happens. A couple days, and then do what I do and eat like 6 of them before a meal. I love them.
Yeah, I
Sometimes I'll
always
have them
go
before a meal.
overboard with it.
Yeah, me too.
hmm
I'll eat them before a meal, and then I'll eat them after a meal too. And marrow where you're at, not an option, but depending on where you're at, for the audience out there, marrow is another really good way to get in fat. Um,
hmm
Also, suet you can get from a butcher. If you got a butcher, like a grass-fed butcher, which in Thailand it's harder to find, but in the U.S., if you got a grass-fed butcher nearby, they'll get you suet really, really cheap, and sometimes they'll give it to you because nobody asks for these things. People don't care about fat, and
That's
some people don't.
hilarious.
Some people don't digest the rendered tallow well, but you can eat it. You could just throw a little piece of suet on a grill or something, heat it up a little bit on the outside, and eat it, or you can eat it raw if you want. If you're like
Mm-hmm.
Ridge and you really like the raw meat.
Straight edge.
What do you think? What do you think
Yeah.
of Arjunus Vonderplanets? He seems like a really polarizing figure and fascinating guy to me. What's your experience with Arjunus?
I talked to him through email years ago when I was still trying to heal colitis, and he said eat nothing but raw eggs, and that'll do it. And I wasn't open to it at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I started studying him for a while back in the day because I'm curious of everything. I've never been closed off to a healing modality. It's like, are you getting results? I want to know more. It's like, let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about his approach because like he has
How
all
did
these
you email him?
lubricating
Because he
formulas.
was apparent. All right, so I don't know much about him either. I know what other people say about him because I never met the man. I haven't read his book.
hmm
I've seen a couple videos, maybe 3 or 4 videos. One of them
hmm
was a really well done. It was his interview with like a lady on some kind of, and it was like conscious TV network, like Downward Dog TV network. It was like a yoga TV network from like 2008 or 9, who knows. But it was a great story. Like the way that guy told his story was just beautiful and amazing and poetic and seemed almost impossible, but riding the line between so absurd and possibly could be true. Um, but it seems like did he have thousands of patients and clients that he helped? That's what some people say. Like Milk
I'm not
Jar.
even sure.
Milk Jar says he had
Yeah, like
thousands of patients and was like helping a lot of people and was really busy.
I have no idea how I even got his email address. I think it might have just been during an interview and maybe he said his email address and yeah, I just emailed him. Maybe it was like his secretary that emailed me back for all I know. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure I emailed him and he told me what to do and that was that. I
Yeah.
don't know enough about his approach to do it. Like I know he likes the honey and the raw milk, I think, and his weird poking the hole in the eggs and leaving it. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know.
Everything that he said, all right. So most of the things that I've heard him talk about, honey, I think honey's a great food. I think for some, as far as like a carbohydrate, a digestible carbohydrate, honey's great. And
Mm.
I think it kind of is when you look at type 1 diabetics and their glycemic
hmm
response to honey and the insulin need after they eat honey, honey seems to be a really, really good food for them. So I think honey's a good one.
Mm.
Raw milk, I think for a lot of people, really good. Obviously for you, not so good. But
hmm
the rotten eggs, that's where I kind of like damn, like that's pretty crazy. But do you know anybody who's tried that? Like a rotten egg like that?
Well, I tried the preserved egg out here. We got these pink eggs in Thailand, and I don't know how they do it, but they're aged for like a year, and you peel them and they're black, and they were disgusting. Like it was just this. The taste was okay, but there was a strong hint of ammonia that came with that, and I was like, this is not good. Not healing. Not good at all.
It's like the same thing, right? Because I hear that the eggs turn black on the inside when they poke a hole in it and then they just let it sit. Is that what the Vonder Planets
These
people did?
had, yeah, like they just poke a hole and let air do its thing, but these were like, I don't know how they make the pink ones here in Thailand. I don't know if they cook them first or what, but I would never eat those again. I'm a little nervous of all these high meat experiments, but I would try it. If somebody came here and like, okay, I have 2-year-old liver here, try this. It'll heal your gut up. It's like, all right, I'll try it.
I think 3 months is what they say with the liver, which it's going to be so hard for me to wait 3 months to eat this. I'm always so eager to, like, I am very eager to try fermented liver. And
Mm.
I did tell Ridge that I would try fermented liver because he's really into it.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm making it now. It's only a week old though, so I got to wait 2.5 months or something to try it. I don't know. You
Damn.
come down to Ecuador on your way over to Canada to reunite with your lady. Or maybe you go pick her up. You guys come down here when it's too cold up there in the winter, and you guys can share
Mm.
some. I'll feed it to you first, and then I'll decide if I'm going to eat it after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking of it. Ecuador is one of the options. New Zealand's another one. I have to test the beef here first, though. But maybe the grass-fed is fine. Because if the beef here is giving me acne and then I move to like New Zealand where it's all beef and I can't eat the beef, I'm going to lose my mind.
I think in your situation, what I would do is I would move somewhere, not because of the food. I'd take a different
Mm.
route this time. I'd go recover the
Mm.
girlfriend, repair the relationship, then decide
Yeah.
together where to go. Because it's like, dude, you're not fruitarian. You can live anywhere now, right? Like really, you can.
Yeah.
It'd be more expensive to live in Canada, but hey, you can get fat. You can get whatever fats you want. So
Well,
I mean,
that's the
obviously it's your
plan.
life, but I'm just saying, if it was my story, that's probably what I would look at. Because the first move was diet related. You ended up kind of
Yeah.
like running to the end and saying, well, maybe I don't want to be here anymore. So, who knows like
Hmm.
what you'll be eating in the future. You can live
Yeah.
anywhere. It's like, why? Why do I want to be here? There's plenty of places with
Well,
great food and
basically,
shit people and shit cultures.
yeah, it's true.
New York
But
City's
like
got
I
great
I
food.
I have to leave because my visa's running out in November. So it's a little bit different of a situation. Like I was gonna move back to Toronto in November and do that, like get the girlfriend, and then we decide where we want to be and do everything together. And that is still the plan. It's just she said, astrologically speaking, it's not a good time. Jupiter's in the fourth house or something, and you don't want to
Yeah.
be doing that. So
Jupiter needs,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking. So like I have two choices. Like visa runs out in November. I have to either leave the country and come back, and then that's another 3 months in Thailand. Do I want to commit to Thailand? The meat's not good here. Or should I find another spot for a short while, let the winter advance a little, and then go back to Toronto maybe February, getting close to the end of winter. So I need in the meantime, country to live in.
My health is crashing just listening and empathizing with your story. I fucking hate traveling. I hate planes. I hate TSA. I hate being irradiated by full body scanners and molested if I decline it. I don't like the whole process. And you know what else I hate? I hate TSA stealing shit from my luggage every time I fly to the United States. You motherfuckers at Miami Airport. Always stealing
Mm,
something. I don't know why. Always something gets stolen on the way out of the
mm.
States coming back here. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and I have a bicycle. I've never flown with a bicycle. I imagine that's going to be a headache.
It's always freaking Apple products. It's like they steal my keyboards and and routers and stuff is what I've lost. But I haven't flown in 5 years, so I'm just I'm just bitching from something that happened a long time
Mm.
ago. 7 years actually.
Yeah.
I've flown in 7 years. Damn. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like traveling. I
Still.
like my town. I like
Yeah.
my nice little
It's a
town. I like my mountains. I like my river. I like my own car. I like being able to lay down in my own bed. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's one of the worst parts of Thailand because we have to leave every so often or get an education visa, but then that's comes with its own hassles.
I need to be an education. Fucking
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm kidding. Um,
Well,
so the visa situation for you, you're leaving soon. I mean, you're on the coast right now. What do you think the difference is like in your health, the way your body functions between being in Chiang Mai and now being in Ding Ming Dong or whatever where are you at now?
I'm in Hua Hin,
Hua Hin.
Thailand.
That's so cool. Huahin.
Yep.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's just so much better. It's not even funny. Just the air quality. I think that's a huge factor in health, just breathing fresh air. And now I'm going down to that ocean every morning, dodging those jellyfish. My friend actually got stung one. Like I'm so careful. I just tiptoe through the water. I scan my circumference. Like if the water's clear, you can see them. So I just go in slowly and then I dive back where I just was to be safe. And I don't just swim haphazardly without looking. And so we both went in the ocean and he's like just swimming backwards and not looking. I'm just thinking in my head, you're gonna run right into a school of jellyfish. And sure enough, one touched my leg, but he liked me. He headbutted me. Like the top is safe. So he just touched my leg and I was like, "Oh, okay. What was that?" And I saw it and I was like, "Okay, thank you for not stinging me. Law of attraction in full effect here." And then he swims back and he freaks out and stands up and I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Ah, shit. Something stung me." And I'm so shocked. Like he had a tiny red mark on his back. And I was like, okay, that's not so bad. Like I've been paranoid of them, just trying to avoid them. And so we go towards the shore, and within 2 minutes, his entire neck to back was just this giant red patch, and he was on fire. And he was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." I felt so bad because he never goes in the ocean. He just walks along the beach. But I was like, "Come
You
on
finally
into
got the
the
balls to
ocean."
go in the ocean.
Yeah. And I was just like, now that I've seen what they can do, that was a baby one. That was a little baby. It
So,
messed him right up.
damn, dude. How did you?
I don't
Does this
even.
guy still talk to you?
Yeah, yeah. I was asking him how his back's doing. He's like, "It's on fire." Thanks, buddy.
Wow. If it was
Yeah,
the U.S., he
I'm
could sue
scared
you.
now.
If it's in the United States, he could sue you. Take all
I'm
your.
scared to even go in because I've seen what a little baby one can do now. Like, I don't know how it spread so far. Like, what did he rub it on its back or something? Like, how did it get so big? I can't believe it. Nature's crazy. And I got stung by a hornet the other day. Video coming on that. I was filming it all. I'm walking up this mountain and I just feel this pain. And I was like, what the hell was that? And I was freaking out for a bit. And I look up and I see the honeycombs and a bunch of hornets. I was like, oh shit. And my elbow was swollen for like a big patch. It was itchy for
Yeah.
days. And I was like, my God,
Dude, I got
nature.
stung by a yellow jacket on the
Mm-hmm.
very end of my penis. The very,
Ow.
very, very tip. I was laying out in the sun naked, enjoying my day, not just minding my own business, just rubbing my balls on the sun. And this little fucker just got me right on the end of the dick. I had to run inside and get a spice jar and fill the spice jar with vinegar and place my penis in the vinegar for like an hour just to try and like neutralize. And it did work. It didn't get super. There was one I also before I
Wow.
got stung on my hand and it like the whole thing swelled up.
So vinegar neutralizes the venom or whatever the heck they do.
Only if it's on your penis.
Oh,
No, actually, no.
yeah, I should have done something.
There's certain situations like sometimes you want acidic, sometimes you want alkaline, and my wife knows. I usually just ask her, "Do I do vinegar? Do I do this for a bee sting?" She knows.
Yeah, that's the funny thing because jellyfish, they say you got to pee on them, but if a vegan pees on you, that's gonna mess you right up because they got the alkaline pee. They're peeing out all their minerals, and that's gonna actually set off the stingers or something. So it really depends. You need like the acidic pee. Most people's pee is acidic, I guess. So don't ever get a
Wow,
vegan to pee on you.
that's
You'll
so
die.
crazy, dude. We're really, man. the divisive rhetoric coming from Vegetable Police here. Doesn't want vegans. He's so hateful of vegans. He doesn't want them to pee on him now. It's like
Not
we're
anymore. Not
no,
anymore.
he hates you vegans so much he doesn't want you. No, I mean he's been very respectful of the vegan community. I'd say he hasn't even showed. He said in the last video I watched from you, it said one of the funniest things you said. I haven't shown the food I'm eating, but I'm almost ready to show the food I'm eating. I haven't shown it to you guys because I respect the vegans. I just thought that was so funny. Of like you don't want to hurt their feelings by showing them your food, but it's like, dude,
Yeah.
all their family eats meat. All those vegans, their families all eat meat. Like they've seen it before. That's what I think is so funny. It's the internet is such a funny place where it's like the vegans have made it to where we can't even see meat. But if you go into 90% of the restaurants in the world, it's like that's what everybody's eating.
Yeah.
Funny.
I'm trying to ease their transition into me as a meat eater. And I just remember as a vegan, some guy was vegan and he ate meat on camera as his announcement. Like his announcement was, I eat meat now. Look at me eating this. And I just thought it was rude and mean. I don't know.
He was asking.
There's more
for
tactful
it.
ways
He wanted to be
do
controversial if he did that.
Probably. Yeah. So I have videos are coming on what I eat in a day videos. We'll start off slow. We'll see if I can actually eat meat on camera. That might take a while.
What if you throw up the meat when you're eating on camera? You're so nervous. You're so scared of Mojo's comment. What's Mojo gonna think? What's vegan soldier 69 gonna think? You just vomit out of anxiety.
Yeah, could happen.
I'd love to see. You'd have to post it if that really does happen. You got to post it in classic Vegetable Police. So what does your day of eating look like nowadays?
Yeah, I'm experimenting with the pork. We're doing lots of pork belly as my main source of fat. I can't even find lard or tallow anyway. I was trying to do coconut oil for a bit.
It's like the most difficult route you're taking. It's so funny to watch. It's like
it's so
because
hard.
of where you live, it's so hard to find the fats. It's so funny.
Why did I move here? It's terrible. What a terrible life decision.
I'm sorry for laughing.
I'm so grateful.
I'm laughing out of empathy because
I'm so much healthier and happier after moving here. Like, would I have had that same personal growth if I stayed? I don't think I would have. So it benefited me in ways I didn't think it would. But now that I'm here and it's just like, I can't even find anything. We got butter, but you can't tell. Like the Thais, let me tell you this. I bought this little bottle of crispy fish. I was like, I'm going to have a little snack, a little dried crispy fish snack, little sardines. Yeah, have a little fun in your life. And it said 100% sardines. I'm like, okay, it's just sardines. Let's try this. Get it home. I'm eating it. It's like, that's sweet. Tastes sweet and spicy. That's interesting. So it's clearly covered in honey or some sort of glucose syrup. It's got spices in there and salt. And I'm like, they don't even have to label it here. It's like, it's a terrible country for this. It's like, you never know what's in anything. That's why like my German pork leg is a cheat. I don't know what's on it. There's something in it. Maybe soy sauce or MSG.
They probably threw some sugar on it before they threw it on the fire. It's sad because it doesn't make a difference. It's not like it makes it taste better.
Well, it tastes better than the boiled meat, that's for sure. But it would have tasted fine if it was plain. If I could ask them to do that and just, do what you're doing, but don't put the sauce on it. Don't marinate it. I'd be fine with that taste. I couldn't believe how much better it tasted, though, than my boiled chicken. I was like, oh, my God, this is amazing. And I was not nauseous after eating it.
What else are you eating? So pork belly. You had so you weren't nauseous. What did you get? Like digestive disruption from your honeycomb fish funk?
I actually got itchy from it, and I think it's usually aged. Anything is high in histamines. The longer it ages, the higher it is in histamines. So I did get itchy from it. So I won't be having. That's why like tinned sardines are not good for people with histamine intolerance. So. Yeah, pretty much I'm mainly on the pork. That's mainly what I eat, pork, the pork collars, and then chicken livers. I haven't been doing the bone broth for a little bit just because I don't have mason jars and it's a pain in the ass to cook, but I would like to get back into that. And I'm just starting. I bought some avocados, so I'm going to try those out. And I did buy broccoli. I'm going to try one flort, see how that
You're
goes.
gonna
And the
cook it, right? You're
chocolate.
not eating it raw, right? You gotta steam that broccoli.
Oh, completely steamed. Yeah.
It's like, just some people, it's like you know how it goes. It's just like
Hmm.
we'll sabotage our own efforts sometimes. It's like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
try these vegetables and I'll see if the vegetables are good. And you go and you eat like a pound of raw chard. You're like, nope, vegetables suck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll do it safe, slowly, small amounts, and like cooked well. And I tried a black sesame seed tahini. It's just gross. Like I would like to try some
But it
plant
kills
fats like a nut
cancer. It's gonna
butter.
kill all the cancer in you.
Yeah, it could be beneficial, but it's like the most bitter tasting of all nuts or
What about
seeds. It's like
coconut oil? I mean,
weird.
that's you should get some there. They export it from Thailand, don't they?
Yeah, I have some. It's so empty of any nutrients, and
It's
it
energy,
wasn't doing
pure
me any
energy.
favors for a while. Like I can do like a tablespoon or so, but I was trying to like do like 4 tablespoons and get a good amount of fat, and I found it was just clogging me up, and I wasn't feeling as good. So not a fan of oil. I wish I could get the animal fats out here.
Well, maybe it's time to venture somewhere else. I mean, it's like what are you just there because you've been there for a while? Is that kind of where it's at now, or you don't know where else you want to go?
Yeah, well, I just moved down here to the ocean, so I wanted to explore a bit. And now that my visa's running out, it's like I have some decisions to make. I mean, I'm pretty happy here, but I think I can do better for the winter. I think I'd be happier somewhere else with trying some high quality meats before I go
It
back to
sounds to me
Canada.
like
I
you're
know I
like
could get.
it sounds to me like you're just ready for social interaction. Like you're coming out of like a social hermitage. You've done some growing up,
Hmm.
ready to go reunite with the real family and your lady and get back on with your life.
Yeah, it's fun. I can't wait to see her and my mom again. It's like, wow, I'm ready. I'm ready to just live a normal life.
It's exciting, man. You sit down and have some dinner with mom and not have to worry so much about is it vegan, mom? You don't have to have that conversation again. Sit, you can make her a steak. You can
Yeah,
make mom a steak. She can be like, "Oh,
yeah, we can eat meat
my boy's
together.
back."
She's keto now. I told her to go on the keto diet. She's lost a bunch of weight, feels better. It's like, right on.
Does your mom like she doesn't have similar digestive issues like as you? Because sometimes it can be a genetic factor. People can have the same sensitivities. She's not as sensitive to the foods as
Oh,
you are.
she's got the iron gut. No matter what she eats, it's just like, boom, I'm good to go. It's like I got my weak digestion from my grandfather. He had ulcerative colitis, so I got his colon in me.
Freaking grandpa, come on, man, take it back, grandpa, take it back.
Yeah, but we can strengthen it. We'll strengthen it.
Seems like you have quite a bit. Seems like
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
kind of resonating through the whole vessel as well. There, it seems like your brain's working better. Seem happier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything's improving. So if meat was unhealthy, I don't see how this would be happening. It's impossible.
Are you getting sun now at the beach? I remember you told me you think sun ages you, or you said you suspect that the sun might be aging
I
you.
do suspect it, but we do need vitamin D, so I do take my shirt off. I go out in the ocean. I try not to stay out for hours. Like I'm white. We're not meant to be in Thailand where the
I don't
sun
get
is
burned. I
so
try not to
hot.
get burned, but I'm addicted to the sun. It feels amazing. Like, doesn't it feel good to you
Yeah,
to
it
be out
does.
in the sun? Like, just 10 minutes of that
It,
blasting midday sun. It's all you really need. 10, 20 minutes. Just feels so good. Like dopamine
yeah,
rush.
absolutely. I just see so many people that are like sun worshippers and they get that leathery looking skin and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. So it's just a say. And I've noticed on my legs, like I always wear shorts and my calves are always exposed to the sun and my thighs are never exposed to the sun. And I've just comparing the skin. I made a video about this comparing does the sun age you? And yeah, my calf skin looks a little more aged. It has that look to it. Where you can see the cross sections and it's like, yeah, that looks a little more aged. So I go by that.
Maybe it's just tougher. It's more loved.
Yeah, but I
I don't
don't
know,
want to
man. I'll
have
never give up
face.
bathing in the sun every chance I get. It's just so like it feels so amazing to me. And like as far as like mood, inflammation, and everything, sunshine, saunas, those are kind of like two things that have just been even before diet. That's what was like. Those are a huge part of kind of trying to figure out how to deal with chronic pain and inflammatory
Mm.
responses, and just kind of all the autoimmune stuff. I discovered sauna when I was like 20 years old or something and did it for the first time, and I was just addicted. And then sunlight when I was like
Mm.
18, started laying out in the sun. But I'd say for the last 3, 4 years, I've gotten more sun than I've ever had at any point in my life. I don't get burned anymore, really. I don't know if it's
Mm.
aged me. I'm sure. I mean, depending if you're vegan or if you eat meat, you'll tell me something different. But to be honest, I just
Yeah.
couldn't give two shits less if I get aged by it, because it's like, man, it's like if I'm all right, if I take off 5 years from my life and I don't live, and I live to be 85 instead of 90. Um, but I get to feel that sun on my body every day, and I get to eat meat every day and feel good and not be farting all the time. I'm down for it. I'm
Mm.
down. As long as I gotta get to be grandpa, I gotta get to be a grandpa. But you know what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to live forever. I'm not buying into that shit. Like, I'm trying to live quality life. And of course, it'd be nice to live long and not have to be a freaking broken, busted 50-year-old. But I love the
You'll
sun.
definitely be healthier out in the sun a lot, even if you might look a little more aged in the face when you're 90. I don't think you'll give a shit. So just right now, I'm just trying to not age super fast, but eventually you just don't give a shit. Once you're like 60, 70, maybe you're just like, yeah, I feel good. Who cares?
Maybe like after you've not been a vegan YouTuber for like a year or so, you stop obsessing over aging. I feel like it's a vegan thing.
Yeah,
The vegans are fucking
could
obsessed with
be.
this aging thing. They're like always like obsessed with like, "Ooh, you look old, this or that." It's like, I mean, I'm not all right. That's a broad generalization, but the ones that hate me are the ones that hate me seem obsessed, and they're always trying to push their own little funny hang-ups on to the recipient of the trolling, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's this one guy who used to always troll me and tell me that I'm bald, and it's like I'm
Mm.
pretty sure I'm not bald. Like I've got peach fuzz. Like you can see there's fuzz all over. I'm
Mm.
not bald yet, guys. Like maybe in a few years I'll be fully there. And maybe I'm not sure if it's getting thinner. I don't really know. When I grow it out, it seems the same as it was 5 years ago. But then you click on the guy's comment, or you click on his YouTube channel. He's always telling me, "Oh, you're bald. Your diet made you bald." You click on his channel, and he's putting out videos about his uh, hair regeneration routine, which involves drugs, like all like very
Mhm.
very expensive, very very obsessive, and that's him working out, him doing squats, and him uh, talking about how he's gonna not go bald even though he started going bald. So it's like, oh, that's why you're obsessed with me being bald. Because you're
Mm.
fucking worried about going bald. Um,
Yeah, I had that once from this guy who said my teeth were yellow. And I was like, yeah, they are kind of yellow. And I looked on his channel and he had the most fluorescent white teeth you've ever seen, like glowing rays of sunshine. I was like, oh my God, like
bleach. He's bleaching
that
them.
doesn't look natural at all. Like he had the whitest teeth. Like they were whiter than the light you see when you die. Like they were freaking I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, that's his obsession.
Dude, some of those guys, there's
Yeah.
like some of these people, there's like famous dentists. There's one in Colombia. There's this Colombian dentist, and all these people like from LA go out to this dentist, and they get on Instagram like it's like these like shine. It's funny, man. Teeth whitening though, like you can do that pretty cheap. I think one of the best things for teeth whitening is activated charcoal as toothpaste, and you could also use a little bit of diatomaceous earth. That'll take off any yellow right off there. That activated charcoal.
Yeah, I seem like they're whiter now that I'm carnivore, but they still seem to be like it's not like a surface stain. I don't know. It's just they seem to have a color. Some people just I've tried the charcoal. It doesn't seem to do much. So, I don't know. I might try to do something like the Zoom whitening or something one day, but
I
I'm not
bet
too worried about it.
I bet a few years of good nutrition. Like, we gotta understand, man. If we have 30 years of nutrient deficiencies and we expect it to be fixed in like 3 months of proper living and eating and sleeping, I mean, like sometimes we ask too much of our bodies, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that the healing process can take time, and it's like I'll get pimples every now and then, and especially if I eat a lot. If I eat at a huge surplus. This dude, oh, that's his name. Yeah. This. All right. So Tarek Shecker knows the guy's troll's name. It's Kevin Mann. Shout out to Kevin Mann. Everybody, go subscribe to Kevin Mann's YouTube channel. He's great. You can also probably see him on past episodes of To Catch a Predator, with Chris Hansen. So yeah, follow Kevin Mann. Great dude. He loves me. I love you, Kevin. I actually haven't banned Kevin because he makes the most hilarious comments. Um, Thank you.
That's the guy that calls you bald.
Yeah, he thinks he doesn't like my hairdo.
I keep getting that just because I've made so many videos on hair loss because I was thinning, and then the vegan diet slowed it and stopped it, and now it's like it's getting thicker on the
thick head
carnivore
of hair
diet.
there, my friend. I don't see any
just
sign of hair thinning. It looks like a workout to move your hand through that thick hair.
It's hard. I could barely do that. I had to train to get that through. It's like, oh my God, the thick forest there. But you got some hair there. You got some hair.
I got the fuzz on top
But
there.
I
But here's
keep
what's
getting
annoying is I
comments.
hate growing my hair out, and I hate having hair. I've been shaving my head since I'm like 19 years old, and it's just like
Yeah.
anytime I had very long hair like 6 years ago, very briefly, and it took a lot of willpower not to cut that for those 2 or 3 years that I didn't cut it. And these freaking vegans, they try to gaslight me into growing my hair out just to prove to myself that I'm not going bald because they are constantly telling me that I'm going bald. It's the funniest thing,
Yeah.
man. The internet is fucking
It's
hilarious.
ridiculous. We can't get away with anything.
Just
And I
can't
keep
win.
getting comments like now, like people are saying, "Oh, your hair's thinning so much on the carnivore diet." I'm like, it's the thickest hair anybody's ever seen in their life right now. Like,
Yeah,
what
but
are
I
you
could see in your
talking
eyes. Have you seen an iridiologist? You've definitely got parasites because I could see in your left eye there's a slight cloudiness at the top of it.
Yeah, I have actually. I've seen a couple. I was like,
Nice.
it's pretty accurate. It's actually from what he told me, I was like, yeah, I am suffering through all those things.
Who's like the godfather of iridiology?
I know Dr. Jensen was one of the main proponents of it, and he came out with this whole system, and it's interesting. I've been taking my eye pictures for years, trying to get them because I've been told that there's some green in my eye, and since I have brown eyes, that really means I have blue eyes, and I'm so toxic. That's why I've been trying to cleanse so hard. It's like I want to see these blue eyes come out
Is that
to
true, or
know
is
that I'm
that
healing.
just another one of those things that gets people chasing the perpetual pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? I don't know,
I've
man.
seen it. I've
So
seen
if
it
my
where,
wife has
like,
blue, my right, all right. So I've got blue eyes, right? Like my eyes are
mm,
they're blue, with
yeah.
and my wife's got green eyes. So does that mean that
Oh.
she's fucking subhuman toxic and she's not like yet to my level of blueness because she hasn't detoxed enough? What does that
It's the
mean in
basic
radiology?
theory that, yeah, they should be blue. And I've seen just many before and afters of raw vegans that had the green, and then you can see it like going away and becoming more blue. But there's also a true brown
Because
eye
they're
that will
missing
never
sheep
turn
testicle
blue.
17.
You got to eat eyeballs. That's all I know.
Have you eaten an eyeball yet? I've eaten eyes before. They're really good, actually.
I
They're
had
actually very
I had a
nice.
fish, a catfish eyeball.
Oh
And I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
fish
I'm gonna
eyes are
suck the thing
amazing.
right out there. Yeah, it was pretty good. And then there was the one hard part in it, and I was like, maybe don't eat that part, but everything else was good.
I think iridiology sounds kind of racist to me because it's like, dude, I guess there are some African tribes though with blue eyes, but nobody in South
I
America
get
really has
that
blue
comment
eyes.
so much because
There's
I've
some
made a
Nazi
couple
racists from
videos.
these iridiologists.
Now, yeah, they're like, you're so racist. Oh, what? All Asian people are unhealthy then? It's like, no, god damn it. In the video I said there's true brown eyes that will never turn blue. And they're harder to read as well. It's tough to see the details, but Yeah, according to the theory, there's only blue or brown, and sometimes the blue eye can turn brown over time due to toxicity.
All right, I,
And
I actually
whoa.
have seen people's eyes change, and with personality changes too, with major personality changes and major like um, kind of like spiritual emotional stuff. I've seen people's eyes colors change dramatically. I'm not sure how. I'm not saying that iridiology is correct. I don't know anything about iridology or iridiology. You have to ask the random commenters who, or just the one commenter who, I think I banned that person. I was like, "You're dumb. Don't, don't diagnose. If you come in my channel and you try and diagnose me with something, you're gonna get banned." It's just like,
Yeah.
don't come on my channel and tell me I've got some disease that I've never heard of because you fucking, because you're
Yeah,
feeling like a shithead today. This is funny.
I get that all the time. Mental disorders. It's like, oh, this guy has major mental problems. I'm like, I'm happier than I've ever been. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, well, because I mean, and you can tell exactly everything about a person through the videos that they're curating and making, right? Like in a like, I mean, you're very honest in your videos, you're very open, but it's like to assume that's like, oh yeah, that's Casey, like that's his soul right there on a platter, and that's all that there is to
Yeah.
it. And every single clip I see and my assumptions about it, that's all just that. It's like, come on, like the dude's got 24 hours in a day just like you. His videos are 9 minutes long. It's like you're not seeing the totality of somebody's being.
Yeah, it's
Freaking
impossible. And
armchair
everybody's
Freud's
different.
out there.
I don't care who anybody is. You turn a camera on, you change a bit. It's natural. Like I've been talking with my buddy Brett Rawlings. We had a podcast together in Chiang Mai, Canuck and the Brit. All our videos are still up. And it's like we talked about this. It's like we're just talking a bit before the show and then we turn the camera on. It's like we're live. And we just change. Like you can't not think of it. It's like, okay, I'm being recorded. It's just natural.
Yeah, that's why
You have to
part
change a
of
little
like the
bit.
20th century social engineering was putting up CCTV cameras all over the West and giving us this constant
Hmm.
surveillance state. It's like if you look at like who's the guy's name? The panopticon. Was it Foucault came up with the idea of the panopticon? But it's like the model for society where in the prison there's the central station and the guards are in the center eye, and they've got one-way glass where you don't know if they're looking at you, but they could always be looking at you, and all the prison cells are surrounding the central thing, so everybody thinks they're constantly being watched. That's
Mm.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm just going into other stuff, but the whole social media thing is so funny to me. I was reading this book. This book right here is kind of interesting. It's nothing to do with health or anything, but it's from Jacques Attali, A Brief History of the Future. I was recommended this book by Jay Dyer, who came on the channel recently. This camera doesn't pick everything up because it's too bright. All right, so in this book, he
A
let's see,
clever title,
A
I
Brief
must say.
History of the Future. So Jacques Attali. So if you look at the top of it, it's like Henry Kissinger says it's brilliant and provocative. So the greatest war criminal of the 20th century says it's lovely. It's
Isn't
a
he
great
a
book.
reptilian?
I'm sure some people say that. He definitely looks like a lizard. But yeah, Henry Kissinger is an old man. He must be 40 years old. He has had his hands all over everything. And Henry Kissinger has actually played a major part in what we see now as the whole plant-based movement because he actually helped um, to strong arm Cargill's policies um, through the State Department and the Department of Agriculture to start using food as a weapon, as he talked about National Security State Memorandum 200. So, sorry to be long-winded, but Kissinger is interesting. He's actually really heavily involved in pushing the international grain market on behalf of Cargill. But all right, so anyways, getting back to this book, this guy
Yeah, I
says in here,
remember
go ahead.
who was just years ago when like 9/11 was happening, the defense guy, I forget his name, but he was like
Donald
big into
Rumsfeld was the defense secretary.
aspartame.
Yeah, Donald Rumsfeld was defense secretary. Yeah, and he was a
Yeah, and he
lawyer.
was like the one behind aspartame
He got it
getting it
pushed
out
through
to
and approved. And some people
yeah,
say that the science was really not on his side. But this
dear
book is
God.
all right. So in this book, he talks about the world planet, the planetary empire, and
Mm.
how we have to move from having these individual nations, and it's naturally just going to move after through technology and transhumanism towards The object as substitute for the state, from hypersurveillance to self-surveillance. Right, so you have
Mm.
hyper-surveillance being kind of like the control grid with all the cameras everywhere, panopticon society, bringing drug dogs into your school and traumatizing you when you're a child, searching you at the everywhere you go because you might be a terrorist, just getting you used to being constantly, like you're walking through a concentration center. So then he talks about, the destruction of nation states is going to be brought about by this vanguard group. I'm trying to find what he calls it. Where did it go? The vanguard group is going to be called the virtual nomads. Virtual
Mm.
nomads, from sports to live show. So this is in 2006 that this guy published this book, and he basically predicted, it's not even predicted, it's like he knew kind of where this was all going, and he was talking to people like Kissinger and the Royal Society. And he talks about how the digital nomads are going to be there's going to be a return of nomadism, and just as unskilled manual workers were the dominant social and political force in the first 3 quarters of the 20th century, masses of skilled sedentary workers will dominate the social and political stage over the next 3 decades. And then he talks about the infra
Mm.
nomads. So you got hyper nomads. Where's the hyper? There it is. Hyper nomads are the masters of super empire, and this is 2006. And the hyper nomad masters
Mm.
of super empire are essentially called this because there will be several score millions of them, women as much as men, many self-employed, drifting from theater to circus, pitiless competitors, neither employees nor employers, but sometimes filling several jobs at once, managing their lives like a stock portfolio. He
Mm.
talks about them as a hyper class, an innovative class, and they will live in every core
Mm.
of the polycentric world. This book is a freaking trip. I'm sorry to be on a total tangent here, but just speaking of the
Mm.
madness of social media and how it's could possibly be used for social engineering. This book from 2006 from Jacques Attali. He's like the French Henry Kissinger. Really recommend you guys read this or listen to maybe Jay Dyer's breakdown on it. But yeah,
Mm.
I'm sorry that was a tangent, but I thought you'd find that interesting since you and I are both unwitting hyper nomads to a certain extent because of our jobs. And
Yeah.
then just us doing this inspires other people to want to do it. And it's like it's unintentionally creating this world that's very nomadic and more disconnected. Even if my message here is eat meat, make families, right? Settle down, have children, build communities. It's like, it's crazy because it's still a part of this thing that's being used for kind of the breakdown of those communities. And I think you're a beautiful
Mm.
example of going far down that rabbit hole, right? Of being like kind of the hyper nomad, hyper individualistic, and almost so isolated because of it. But now you're
Mhm.
turning it somewhere else. You're going back to the family, back to the girlfriend. It's an interesting journey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much more enjoyable life with real people to laugh with and do things with. And like I had so much fun in Chiang Mai working out with my buddies. We made a workout video and we're challenging each other and it was so much fun. Like I hadn't had that much fun in years with Sunfruit Dan and Daniel Jury that I mentioned before. And it was just like, wow, I've been missing out. I've been sitting in my room trying to cultivate the perfect human body by myself. And it's like, you need these things. Where's my girlfriend? Oh my God, just hugging her heals me. She gives me these wiggly hugs. She wiggles. I miss them so much.
Yeah, I
So,
think we don't. It's like you get past the age of 12 and you don't really get hugs, right? And I mean,
mm,
especially nowadays. Like people are so disconnected from each other, from family. It's like, dude, I didn't have a massage until like my wife. So like I met my wife. Like I'd never had a massage, and no one had touched my feet since I was maybe 12 years old, and maybe my dad taking off my baseball cleats or something. If I had a twisted ankle, maybe rub my leg.
mm,
Um, CPS, it's okay. It's consensual. But yeah, I mean,
mm-hmm,
it's like we don't get that anymore. It sucks. And people are
mm-hmm.
disconnected, even though they could talk to all their friends all the time. It's like people don't really connect.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss it. I miss playing board games with my mom, just laughing our asses off. It's just like fun times, family and friends.
So you're on a journey, man. I'm excited for you. You're feeling better than ever. Your digestion's better. Do you think would you consider this a slow healing process that you're going through, or do you think you've experienced kind of an accelerated healing over the last few months?
It's been accelerated like crazy, like more healing in the past month than I have experienced in the 10 years as a vegan almost. Like you could condense it down. Like I'm farther ahead now. It's just been so fast, but I'm just fine tweaking things now, playing around. Okay, what is this gonna bloat me? Will I get acne from this food? How much can I eat of this? Can I have 3 oranges? No, just one. Okay, I seem to be fine with 1 orange right now. So yeah, it's just a fine tweaking process and I feel good. And I'm still trying to dial in the fat to protein level. I do realize I don't feel good if it's like entirely fat. I need some protein or carbs. I need some. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
the
just
thing. You need
fine.
the energy source, man. You're getting pretty lean, and your body's not gonna. It's like your body's not. It doesn't give up those last bits of fat without a fight. So I think the
Yeah,
dietary fat's definitely important when you're lean, and you're building muscle. You're building your monkey strength, which has been progressing
yeah,
well, right?
yeah. I'm gonna work out today. I'm on to the 1 arm push-ups, and I'm just like feeling so strong. And it's like, wow, this is great. It's like it's not why I do this. It's not even why I work out. I don't care what my body looks like. I literally never look at myself and think, okay, what should we build today? Do I need a bigger chest? And it's like I'm so happy with my body because it's functionally strong and I just feel good. And I only work out to beat my goals. It gives me something to shoot for. It's like, okay, I got 5 reps of the 1 arm push-ups last week. Can I get 6 this week? That's why I work out, to just keep bettering myself. And I feel more confident with the added muscle, and it just helps the mind. Just having a healthy physical body that's capable. I know that I could handle myself if somebody were to attack me. I'd throw them across the street, and it's
Throw
just
them
like,
across
yeah,
the street. Oh my goodness.
across the
That's
street
how
all the
strong
way.
this man has become. He will throw
Yeah,
you across the
yeah, and
street.
I could,
There's like some
and
Avengers shit going on here in Thailand.
yeah, it's that powerful. Yeah, it's like I have access to the roof now. I just discovered I can go up on the roof and I got all these mountains surrounding me and the ocean off in the distance.
Just
But
like
there's a
yell at the
heavy
top of
ass
your lungs.
door.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll try that. But
It
there's this
actually feels
heavy
really good
ass
sometimes.
door that's keeping you from it. You have to climb a ladder and then push this heavy door up. And if I wasn't a carnivore, I wouldn't have access to this beautiful nature because it's heavy. It's like you got to really get it up there. It's like,
This is true. I think in the very near future, I'm gonna write a futurist book. It's gonna be along the lines of Jacques Attali or Charles Galton Darwin's Next Million Years, and it's gonna be I'll call it Soy Boy Herbivorous or Homo
mm,
Carnivorous. Which one will you
oh,
choose? Which will you choose?
oh,
Soy Boy
oh
Herbivorous
my.
or Homo Carnivorous. We'll call it what's no Homo Carnivorous for the homophobes out there. No,
There you go.
um, no, but really, it's awesome to talk to you. It's always a joy having you on, and I think it's cool that you're doing what you're doing. You're so honest about your journey. You're not dogmatic about it. You're not saying, "Oh, I'll never eat plants again. These things are terrible." You're like, "Hey, have an orange. See if it fits. See
Yeah.
if it works. See if it gives me the
Hmm.
squirts. If it doesn't, then I feel good and I'm cool with it. And that's great, man. That's awesome.
Hmm.
I think it's very important that people don't get so wrapped up in just like, oh, this is the way because this feels good right now. I got to do this forever. And this is the only way. Because I think the body's always changing, needing different things. And I mean, I'll go through weeks where I want liver all the time, and then I don't want liver for a few weeks.
Hmm.
I'll go through weeks where I eat
Yeah.
a lot of meat, and then weeks where I eat one meal a day. So I think we're
Hmm.
constantly changing things depending on goals and what's going on. I so
Constantly.
badly want you to have a good source of fat.
Yes. Yes. That is the life goal right now. Get some animal fat into my belly.
So I would look forward to seeing you try those quail egg yolks. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I'll
gotta
try
post it
them.
on a video if you try them, or just
All right.
tell me an email or something. I want to
Yeah,
know if
well,
it
thanks
works because
for.
I love them. They feel so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried them. They are tasty and creamy. People get like offended. I think women more for some reason. I read somewhere that women get like grossed out by the texture of a raw egg, but really it's delicious, just like a sunny side up egg.
Yeah, I like the raw egg, but now that I've been taking the whites out and giving them to my dog, I like them way better. I think they're better without that stuff. Someone says buy good butter, VP. Well, if you haven't heard his history, he's very sensitive to dairy. So even good butter might give him a reaction. Although the Augenus von der Planets people would probably say no. You are incorrect, sir. If you get good raw butter, it might be good. But I don't know. There's a lot of different camps out there, a lot of different people with different ideas, and I think it's important to not just look for some fake savior figure online to tell us what to do with our lives and our diets, and to just explore this for ourselves and look for ways to improve our health ourselves. That's what Mr. Vegetable Police is doing over here. You're keeping the name, huh? You're keeping the Vegetable Police name?
Yeah, for now at least. We'll see. I don't even know what I would change it to if I did, but yeah, it's just a silly name about health. It pretty much sums me up. It's like vegetable police. What the heck does that mean? Doesn't have to mean anything. Means whatever you want it to mean.
I love how fluid it is though, because it makes sense either way. It's like if you don't eat
Yeah.
vegetables, if you like only eat vegetables, either way, it totally makes sense. I mean, you could
Yeah.
just be policing the amount of vegetables and the types of vegetables you're eating, making sure that they agree with your digestion.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so versatile.
what do you see going forward? What do you think is going to happen in the coming months? You got any? I don't know. We talked about your personal life. What's going to happen with you personally? What do you think? You think we're going to see? I suspect we will see quite a few big vegans come out and talk about their omnivorous explorations. I think we're going to see a lot more of
Hmm.
that, but how much more of that, I don't know. How long this is going to last, I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with all this YouTube plant versus normie, not on only plants versus carnivore crazies versus whatever?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that because veganism is a tough diet to really dial in. You got to be knowing what to supplement with and fixing your digestion so you can handle it. It's like, and not everybody can do that. So it's not just like there's a reason 1% of the world is vegan. It's not just because meat tastes good, it's because people can't even thrive on it. But I'm open to it. I'm open to other people being vegan, not necessarily myself, but it's like, okay, you can do it. I'm not going to discount you,
So
but
you're
I
gonna you're
think we're
gonna
going to see a
promote
lot.
veganism for other people. You're gonna say you guys should all do this, but I don't really want to. But maybe you guys should.
They can try it. They can try it. I mean, I benefited from it for a while, but then it went downhill, and that seems to be a common thing. It's like people go on a vegan diet, feel amazing for a year or two, and then they start crumbling. So it's like, okay, well, do that vegan. Get initiate yourself into health on a vegan diet and cleanse out with the fruits and veggies, and then start eating more paleo or ketogenic and get it the balance. There's both. I think we probably need both for optimal health over time, plants and animals. So, yeah, who knows? We don't know. Amber O'Hearn, she's doing the carnivore thing. She's thriving. So
Joe
we
and
might not need
Shalene
anything.
Anderson. Joe and Shalene Anderson for 20 years on just steaks, not even eating organs or anything. They're just eating steaks, and they raised their boys on that. And man, I mean, it's interesting. Like there's things out there that are going on that make me question my assumptions. Even, it's like I feel
Hmm.
better with organ meats. I think it's a great idea when you look at all these cultures. They're consuming organ meats, marrow. I love these things. I feel great with them. Some people are just eating ribeyes for years and doing okay. So it's like, can I sit here and say, oh, well, that's wrong? This woman got complete remission of all Lyme disease symptoms and went from being fat, 20 years, her picture from 20 years before to now, it's just like she looks way better 20 years later. It's incredible. It's like, so I can't
Yeah.
discount that and say, oh, well, that, it's unhealthy to just eat ribeyes. It's like, this lady did it. So I think
Yeah,
it's great that we're having to.
we just don't know. Like there's the vegans who get healthy and cure all their diseases and then go downhill. There's vegans that get healthy and continue to thrive. Then there's the carnivore diet people who get healthy and we don't know, it's kind of new, but we're seeing the ones that are thriving decades, so they're doing all right. But eventually will it be like the vegan diet where you eat the carnivore diet for 2 years, you cure all your diseases, and then you start going downhill because you're lacking something in the plants?
I
I
think
don't
people need to
know.
start looking at the environment. Stop acting like the whole thing is all about diet. I mean, you have a whole 5G microwave system we know interacts with the water molecules in our body. It's like even 4G and 3G, non-ionizing radiation is known in all other countries except the United States to damage cell metabolism to alter glucose metabolism. The gut microbiome is very, very intimately connected with magnetic fields. That's why you get seasonal flu variations. Viruses grow when there's changes in temperature and density and magnetism. So I think it's like
Mm.
I want to see more people talking about other aspects of this that are affecting us. Especially we have like the 5G thing coming out now, which is, it's millimeter wave frequencies, which you can burn people's skin with. I think the wireless radiation thing is and radio frequency, non-ionizing radiation is a really big issue that most people haven't thought about at all. We just think it's great because we get Wi-Fi, and people need to
Yeah,
understand
it's
that
a
there's a lot
problem.
more than just diet. I want that to come to because it's like, look, we can argue about keto and carnivore all the time, uh, like what's going to happen when there's an entire like freaking 5G microwave grid all around us that has effects on human consciousness, has effects on difficulty, with cellular metabolism, opens up the blood-brain barrier, which the blood-brain barrier and leaky gut, and the gut and the brain being very intimately interconnected. I think I really want to see more of this come to the
Yeah.
forefront. It's cool. There's
Yeah,
some.
there is so much more than diet to health. I used to put everything into the diet basket, but yeah, all this stuff matters. Like the Wi-Fi, I always unplug my Wi-Fi router at night, and like I can feel it. And if I hold a cell phone for too long, it feels weird in my hand. I can feel it. It's something's not right. It's like put down your phone, get a little selfie stick so you're not touching it. It's like get away from the electronics. Whenever I'm at my laptop, it's like I type for a bit and then I'm up. I'm up above it. Like I can measure it. I've seen like there's radiation fields. It's like it reaches out like that far. So I try to just avoid it. Same with my mouse. I'm always hovering above it. Like electronics are we don't know what the hell they did a study years ago where they put fruit flies in a like this thing next to a TV that was on all the time. And after a couple generations, they couldn't reproduce anymore, and they were getting all weird mutations and stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's
Sounds like
so
my
many.
generation.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, it's sad, man. It's like we look at diet a lot, and I think, shit, I think maybe the diet might just be one of the aspects that we're looking at that might be, damaging us. Someone mentioned the 1996
Big one.
Telecommunications Act. Yeah, exactly. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 was criminal. Basically gave industry
Mm,
free reign to turn us all into lab rats.
mm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, diet's huge because it's like the one thing we're actually putting inside our body. I think it can affect us the most. But then there's all the other areas you gotta pay attention to, the Wi-Fi and just your mind. It's like, are you watching the news with people just bombarding you? It's like you got to go inside for some happiness, not be dependent on the outer world. And is everything good out here? Oh, okay, then I can be happy. Yay. It's like develop it inside and then spread it. I love the mind. It's powerful.
It's nice having a mind. I mean, it's a fascinating battleground, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And what about
Yeah.
so I think sunshine's a big one for me. It's just like just throwing out some other factors there. Maybe the audience is wondering, okay, you said diet's not the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe other people haven't watched many of my videos, but I'm really big on circadian rhythm, sunshine, reducing inflammation through avoiding toxic exposure to things like blue light, which is blasting me in the face right now, so that I'm not rude and have red light all around. But that's a big one. I'm really big with. I love sauna. Sauna's been something that I've
Do you
used
have
for.
that Flux app that dims your monitor?
Yeah, I use what's called. Actually, I upgraded. So Flux is cool. Flux, F dot Lux or whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
upgraded and I use something called Iris. So it's I've got
Okay.
a program called Iris, and it's much better than Flux, and it actually stops the flicker rate, right? So the flicker rate is very, very specifically dialed in to put us in a state of very, very high suggestibility and kind of hypnotic state. And this changes the flicker rate too. So highly suggest Iris. I
Wow.
think there might be a link down in the thing here because we have an affiliate thing for it. It's like $10 for life or $12 or I forget.
I'll check it out.
But Iris is great. It's a step up from F.Lux, in my opinion. F.Lux is good too.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm big on cold
Yeah.
exposure can be nice too. You know, but it's just like the light
Fresh
cycle
air
sleep.
is
Yes.
huge.
Right? Did you have asthma?
Non-polluted air.
Did you grow up with asthma and
Um,
allergies?
I got not asthma, but I had bronchitis many times. And yeah, I've had some lung issues for sure. I mean, I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day, so that kind of
So that cured it.
irritated me. Yeah.
So
So
vegetable
there's
police is confirmed. Never really a vegan, never really a carnivore, and never really had asthma. So,
it's just I had an asthma-based disease. It wasn't full-on asthma. It was just bronchitis. I'm sorry. Yeah. And grounding, I find super beneficial, especially in the ocean if you got one. God damn, I just sit in that thing. It's like there's one level of grounding, getting your feet on the earth, walking along the beach or the grass. That's grounded. That's nice, but when you're surrounded by the grounded water and it's just like penetrating, oh man, I just feel so recharged. As
I
long as a
love,
jellyfish doesn't get you.
I love, yeah, I love water. I mean, even just a pool, even if it's chlorine sucks. But I've been swimming the last few days. You know what sucks is my ears clogged up. I got swimmer's ear. I can only hear out of one of my ears. So there you go. You know, a meat diet causes swimmer's ear for all the vegans watching.
no.
And, yeah, I have a disease in my ear now. But yeah, I love just getting weightless. Probably a lot to say with that when you it just takes the stress off the body when you're in the water. Not to mention you're grounded with the ocean,
Yeah.
salt water. I think that's really important. Just outside time, I guess. Like, you know, I mean, nature, being out in like the natural world. Nature not being just your backyard, but like getting out somewhere where there's, you know, untamed forces,
Yeah.
waves, wind.
Yeah, it's super high importance and exercise. Just like there's no one best exercise, but whatever you enjoy is the exercise for you. It's like you'll be drawn to a certain body types will be drawn to endurance and others will be drawn to strength and just find something that you love to do. But in my opinion, it's like Mark Sisson says, slow, steady movement throughout the day, walking around, and then high exertions of strength and just to pump up the blood. And yeah, exercise is super important. You're muted again. On your mic, I can see it flashing in the Yeti.
Came back.
I used to
Yeah, I
have
really.
that mic.
It's a good mic. Why'd you get rid of it? You got a better one?
This one is a dynamic mic and it reduces the sound of the room better. So like a computer fan, traffic outside, like it only like if I'm back here now, probably hardly anybody can hear me and I get close up. It's like you have to be right close to it though. That's the annoying thing. But you're right there anyway.
Yeah, I try to be. Sometimes I drift and I catch myself. Come back. Bring it up to the mic. It's a good mic. I like it. Well, awesome, man. We've got some good tips there, talking about other aspects of life that are important, right? I mean, I think community is a big one. Family. That's why we got the Eat Meat, Make Families shirts. Oh, let's see if I can get it on camera. Eat Meat, Make Families t-shirts. So obviously, if you wear one of these shirts, you're going to be healthier. I mean, literally. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see people talking about some of the other aspects of life that are important. And it's cool to see them lining up for you and you kind of getting beyond a lot of your former anxieties and blockages and enjoying life. So thanks for sharing. And I'd keep you on, but I think we've almost talked for 3 hours. I'll give my audience a break and I'll let you get on with your day.
Alrighty, thanks for having me on, man. I always enjoy these conversations, and I think we helped some people today. Give some tips. It always feels good.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah,
thanks.
we might help convert some soy boy herbivorous over to homo carnivorous. But
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, or just help some people understand that it's not just about diet, right? There's other things involved, right? We got to get out in the world. We got to move our bodies. We got to get outside. And sometimes we expect the diet to fix everything in a few days, and we just got to let the body do its job. The body takes time to heal. I mean, look, I have 5 years of eating a ketogenic diet, and I still feel myself getting better with time. And I still go through periods where it's like, it's like I never get a pimple or get grumpy or have a day where I feel shitty. It's like there's no such thing as perfect health, in my opinion. And anybody who's trying to sell you on that is they're selling snake oil. It's like we're all going to die. The body wither. Your skin gets old, leathery, wrinkly. Your dick stops standing up in the morning as you get older, and things just fall apart. But it's like, how can we enjoy the ride? That's what I'm all about. And not just, enjoy it, but like, how can we make it meaningful? And how can we do something good with it?
I wonder if snake oil would be a good fat for me out here in Thailand. Maybe I'll try it.
Dude, they sell snake oil here.
Yeah, maybe it's the best thing ever. We've been lied to. It's like, oh, snake oil, don't ever try that. That's a joke. It's probably the healthiest thing anybody's ever eaten in their life.
They make snake liquors here, so they make punta, and it was just jugo de caña and jugo de caña fermentada. So you just take cane juice and you let it ferment into like really intense punta alcohol, and then they filter it. It's moonshine, and then they'll take snakes. And they'll put it in there with the venom and everything, and they'll ferment the snake in the alcohol, and then they'll serve it. I've never drank any. I don't drink, really, but crazy.
You ever seen a chupacabra out there?
Yeah, I've eaten a few. They don't have enough fat. No, I'm kidding. I think that's Costa Rica.
The mythical creature. You're eating it. No.
The Sasquatch meats, right? If you get a good marbled female Sasquatch, like a mature one, not the ones with the really intense foul smell, just amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the best meat.
Yeah.
Squatch meat.
I believe that.
Squatch rump roast. Amazing. You got to eat it raw, too. You got to eat that Squatch meat raw.
Yeah. And the feet, like Bigfoot feet stew. Apparently.
Weston Price, he
Delicious.
said that, Weston Price, the Inuit, they would actually eat the Yeti's liver first, raw. And then they would ferment the eyeballs inside of the testicles, and they would consume that 3 months later.
Well, I'd do that anyway.
Yeah, right. That's just common sense.
That's just common sense right there. Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. We're getting delirious. We're out of here, guys. You guys got to make sure to subscribe to Vegetable Police on YouTube. I'll put his link in the description down below. It's the last call for the next Keto and Carnivore Collective. We start on Sunday. Smaller group this time because I don't do any advertising really. But it's going to be fun. We're excited. And then we might do a November Keto and Carnivore Collective because we actually had a few people asking about it. But we'll see. We're going to try to do every other month. So those of you interested, there's a link down below in the description. And, of course, remember, you're way more than what you eat. So get off the computer. Get away from the screens. Go talk to real people. Go hug your spouse. Go hug your closest vegan. Tell them you love them and you'll buy them a steak one day when they come back around. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.